We alive, baby, 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 we alive. Let's go. All right, so it is now 7:58. I promise you, it took everything in me not to start at 7. I'm telling you, it took everything in me to not start at 7. Man, let me tell you, everybody, get in here now. That's all I'm gonna say. Get in here now. We going off tonight. We are going off tonight. We alive, baby. Listen, when I tell you it took everything in me not to start at 7 p.m. I told y'all 8, so I waited until 8. But as soon as that guy at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue stepped down, I was... What time is it? 7:59. I still got a minute. Get in here. Tonight, we are talking about it. Our lives matter. It's a whole lot of people whose lives just got clumped into that hour. I'll tell you that. That one thing. Listen, tonight, listen. I'm going to go ahead and do the precursor because that's important. The views that will be expressed here tonight are not necessarily the views represented by my job or my nonprofit. This is just Rajon tonight. This is Real Talk with Rajon. The people coming on, I'm not censoring anybody. I'm not telling anybody what they can and can't say. We keeping it real tonight. Because we are at an interesting place. Hold on, it's 8 o'clock. I can roll. Okay, let's go. Let's do this, man. Hey, let's do this, man. Let me close this out. I need to make sure I'm focused. I'll be locked in on y'all. Like y'all and me and y'all. All right, I got my people in the background, man. I'm ready to, man. I'm telling y'all, let's do this, man. Yo. Hello, world, and welcome back to Real Talk with Rajon, when nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I am your host, Rajon Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with Rajon, everything's available, so on any given week, we could be discussing anything from sports to music to politics. You name it, we'll discuss it. I'm going to stop my music right there. I'm stopping my music right there because it's time to go in. I don't have time to introduce people. I don't have time to do nothing but give y'all what I came to give y'all tonight. Tonight's show, first of all, let me start out with where this came from, where the idea for this show came from, right? This show, which I'm calling, it was originally called Our Lives Matter, a community discussion. It was Our Lives Matter, a community discussion. Because across our country, we have been dealing with a situation that was sparked by the death of George Floyd. I want to make sure that we start with that point right there. This discussion was started in this iteration by the killing, not the death. I don't want to say the death, the murder of George Floyd by police officers. Everything that came after that was a result of an initial action, which was a man with his neck being held by the knee of a police officer for 8 minutes and 48 seconds until he died. After that came protests in Minneapolis, and then it spread to 4 cities, then it spread to 12 cities, then it spread to 20-something cities, and then it came to Charleston. And then some stuff happened today. I wanted to come on here and give people an opportunity to share their thoughts about what's going on and how we as a country can move forward as a nation. I wanted to give an opportunity to say what they thought about it, and that's what we're going to do here tonight. But a bomb was dropped at approximately 6:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when the President of the United States decided it's time to activate the United States military, effectively calling into action martial law. This is not a movie. This is not a joke. This is not a game. Now, with that being said, I got some people I want to bring on. All right. I'm going to start off by bringing on my co-host for the evening. This gentleman here. If you know who he is, you know what he does. Mr. Calvin Logan, aka Logan Power of the Logan Power Morning Show. Talk to him, man.
Hey, this is Calvin Logan, the Logan Power Show. Rajan, I thank you again. Real talk with Rajan. I don't know about y'all, but the bomb has been dropped, and it's literally a reality. So let's get into it.
Yeah.
We know that George Floyd has died 7 days ago. 7. From 7 days to now, there's been protests, peaceful protests, but then things have gotten out of hand. It's not everybody. It's some bad people. But now the president of the United States has literally declared all military to be fully active.
Yep.
Now, people got to understand how severe that is, because due to the fact is the military does not abide by the same rules and regulations that a law enforcement officer may come into play. So you got to understand what you're asking is that if I put the military involved now, it's a different ball game. You can't tell the military, oh, you hit them with tear gas. It's not what you're taught.
Nope.
You can't say, oh yeah, hit them with pellet guns. No,
nope.
These real guns. And so my thing is that I believe this, that if you're going to protest, you got to be willing to go all in, but it's not just protesting. You got to get economically protesting. You got to get to the point that it's not just the president you should be focusing on. You got to figure out, how can I get these House representatives that speak in my language, these senators, city council members, the mayors, all those things that people don't really look upon all the time. Those are the players you got to get in place, because the president's played a chess move on y'all. He really did. When he said, okay, I'm gonna let y'all, because this is what happened was, if the narrative was a peaceful protest and the president just went left, what we would have said, hey, he can't do that because it was all peaceful. But because the narrative got switched so quickly, what happened is the narrative changed. Instead of being focused on what the whole narrative was, is African Americans are not getting a fair shake. They've been literally oppressed. They've been literally stripped of their identity themselves, and they're not feeling safe. So you see anarchy, you see turmoil. But now the narrative is, oh man, these people are rioting, they're looting. And that's what the news keeps showing majority of the time. But they don't show the protests where people are peaceful. People are actually working together. White, black people, Hispanic, Native Americans. We don't talk about that. What happens is now the thing is the president's talking about, it's the money aspect. See, the people that are calling him, people who got money and saying like, hey, my building's being attacked. You're affecting my building. So the narrative is not all about African Americans now. It's about, well, I get these rioters back in place. So now I'm going to skip all of what the whole premise was, and I'm going to focus on now I'm bringing the military in. And by that happening, ladies and gentlemen, what's going to happen is that peaceful protest, they just pretty much, the president's handed over the police a whole bunch of firepower. So that's over with. So I just pray right now that today that you all have solutions, because complaining days are over with. You got to be ready to vote. You got to ready to back up what you say economically, because today in America is like probably 1968, where when Martin Luther King died and there was riots all over the place, or 1991, 92, with the LA riots where things were getting crazy. So now we got to understand this. It's a new day in the United States of America. So I hope that will happen. So, hey, I'm excited, and I'm really excited to be a part of this panel here today, sir.
Let's go. All right. So I actually have, I want to bring on a young gentleman. I'm coming to you, Professor Ford, after I go to my young guy. All right. This young man is a young man that I know. I mentor him. He's one of the members of the Distinguished Gentlemen's Club mentoring program, as well as the Low Country Youth Services organization. He is speaking on behalf of himself, of course, but he wrote a very interesting piece that I was a big fan of when I read it, and I told him we got to do something with it. So tonight I wanted him to come on and read it. It's about about what's going on as far as the protests, and it's about the George Floyd murder. So I'm going to bring on my young man, my guy, Zach Kennard. Thank you so much for joining us, Zach. What's going on, my guy?
Nothing much, man. Just I'm just hanging in there, just enjoying the time off. But I'm honored to be able to give this opportunity to share this to the people watching.
You deserve it, my guy. The floor is yours. Go get it.
All right, so this poem, I titled it "To Protect, Serve, and Kill." It's self-explanatory. I don't really have anything to describe it as, because it describes itself.
Yeah.
So just a couple of words that I wanted to say that inspired me to do this when I wrote it. I wrote this, I want to say around November, December time, as an assignment for my creative writing major class that I take at Charleston County School of the Arts. And I wanted to do a topic that would stick with people. And when I chose something that actually, it meant something to me, I figured I want to do something that's going to blow people away. So I ended up reading this poem at Barnes & Noble that was in Mount Pleasant at Town Center, I believe, is what it's called. And people, they just got off of their feet about it. So I'm really honored to be reading this for you. And let's go ahead.
Let's go, my guy.
So, to protect, serve, and kill. A pack of Skittles and an Arizona sweet tea. He was coming from his dad's house and made a stop at the 7-Eleven, like the Exxon, down the street from my house. Usually a 5-minute walk, I turn into 10 because I walk slowly. Trayvon Martin was a teenager from Miami Gardens, Florida, almost finished with high school. Trayvon Martin had divorced parents, but throughout it all, he had a life. Robbed. George Zimmerman robbed Trayvon Martin because he looked suspicious. Suspicious. Skittles and a bottle of tea. A robbery that's left unjustified. We live in a world filled with injustice and hate. A world where you can't walk the street without being killed. Trayvon Martin. A world where you can't attend a birthday party without being kneed to the ground and killed. Jamar Scott. A world where you can't do any good deeds without being falsely accused and killed. Eric Garner. A world where you can simply be unarmed but black and killed. Walter Scott. My brothers and sisters, see, we live in a world where hands up, don't shoot, simply won't do. Killed. Michael Brown. It takes me about 20 minutes to walk to the Exxon and back to the house. A jacket and some sweatpants on. I pose no threat to anyone. Going to fill up a gas container and get a few snacks, but looking suspicious because of being black. Rest in peace, my brothers. Our lives will always be indebted to you, because in this world also lies love, faith, and hope. With love leading my way on a train ride, taking me throughout all forms of evil this world may bring. Thank you.
That's my guy. Listen, give it up for my guy. Give me some. Yo, listen. Give it up for my guy. This is what we're doing here tonight, right? This is my guy. This is Zach. Zach, what grade are you in, man?
I'm a rising sophomore. I'm in 10th grade in August.
Rising sophomore. I'm so proud of you, my guy. You did that. You did that. You spoke your heart, and like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I love you. All right. You have a good night, and I want you to. If you got anything you want to say before you leave out?
Yes, sir. I mean, this topic, like what I sent to you the other day, Mr. Rajon, that's honestly how I feel. It's sad seeing what happened. I was watching CNN, the I Can't Breathe, the documentary that they had with Don Lemon, and that hurt. Especially with Eric Garner and George Floyd. With them saying that they can't breathe. That hurt to see. So. It's stuff like this, and I'm gonna plan on working on something in the future that's dedicated directly towards, young African American brothers and sisters not being able to breathe. So I'm working on something like that in the future. But thanks for giving me the opportunity, man. I appreciate it. Love you as well.
Love you back, bro. I will talk to you soon. Hit me on the text.
All right, man.
All right, my guy. All right, man. That was Zach. I'm telling you, tonight it's going down. Tonight we're talking about it. All right, the next brother I'm bringing on is somebody that I am such a fan of. I met Professor Damon Fordham through the internet, through the power of social media, and he came on my show, and I swear I sat and listened to this man talk for 2 hours, and I had no problem. So I know that he had a very special thing that he wanted to say about this topic. So I'm going to bring on Professor Damon Fordham. Here we go, sir.
First of all, Rajon, I am so glad that you put that young man on. Can you hear me all right?
I hear you great.
Okay, great. Well, I'm so glad you put that young man on before me, because I was not, I was almost out of control of what I was going to say before that young man came on there and talked hope back into my soul for these young people, because I'll explain all of that momentarily. But first, I want to get into what you and Calvin were talking about a little bit earlier.
Go for it.
Folks, this is serious business as far as martial law in these United States, because I listened to President Trump's speech right before I was making my notes for all of this, and he made a couple of very unveiled references to protecting the Second Amendment rights of the American people. And I hope the American people understand the implications of this. This is basically, along with federalizing the military and so forth, one of those dog whistle messages to the Yahoo crowd that loves to hear that type of thing. And that's going to be just too serious and deadly consequences for the American people. That is almost civil insurrection, to use that type of irresponsible language at a time when people are so volatile and sensitive at this moment. So, folks, if you're one of those people who don't regularly pay attention to the news, pay attention now. Yes. Because this is affecting you and your future and what's left of the future of this country. Now, having said all of that, I nearly lost it right before this came on, because I think yesterday, some of you who follow me on social media saw how hysterical I was when they tear gassed those young people over in Marion Square, when the people in Marion Square refused to leave. They wanted to clear them out of the park. And fortunately, Elder James Johnson, one of the local leaders, came in and he pleaded successfully with the young people to get up and march out of the park. And I was glad for that. But what most of us don't know is that right before Elder Johnson persuaded the young people to leave, this young man by the name of Giovanni Jordan Jr., he sat and gave this heartbreaking prayer before they put the tear gas and all that on them, telling the policemen that he loved them, there was his family, he was not their enemy, and so forth. This beautiful, moving, tear-inspiring, eloquent prayer, and yet they arrested him and held him overnight when he made it clear that, and he was pleading over and over, he was not a threat to them, he was not a threat to them. Okay, granted, it would have been the wise thing to do for him to leave and all of that, but really, there's an old saying that goes, you can't be neutral on a moving train. I mean, how can you not support our young people when you see something that sincere as that? Now, when I say support young people, I don't necessarily mean support these people who are deliberately causing foolishness for the sake of causing foolishness. I mean, some of them get caught up in emotion and start all that stuff. That's one thing. I'm just against the people who do that premeditated crazy stuff. I don't go for that kind of stuff at all. But young people, just understand a couple of things here very briefly, okay? Number one, many just don't know that we've been through all of this before. Back in the 60s, the young people were saying and doing the same things in reaction to the injustice of Martin Luther King's murder, and it ended very badly for them. You see, so you have to take that into consideration, that when you are out there against police with billy clubs, tear gas, tanks, and now this martial law thing, listen, a person who is serious about social change does not seek to be a martyr. They do not seek to die. You seek to live so that that social change can live on and that you can actually accomplish something from that.
Yes.
And there you have it.
There we go. That's my guy. Listen, thank you so much, Professor Fordham. You said it so eloquently as only you can. Calvin, anything you want to say?
I want to agree with, just echo what Professor Fordham is saying, is that for some of you don't understand the severity of tear gas. I've been tear gassed before. I've been maced before. I've been tased before. So tell people right now, it is no joke.
Yeah.
Like I said, and losing your life, I'm going to tell you all the time, we can march. You guys can march for Calvin for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I still got a family to support. So I'm telling people that you got to be, like I tell people right now, if you're really serious about this thing, people who march in certain times literally died marching. My father has scars from Selma till this day inside of his leg. He was told as a young teen, my grandmother, exactly. My grandmother told my father back to not march. Don't do it. He said, Grandma, I gotta do it. I got to do this. I got to get on here and make a difference. So I'm telling you all that if you're willing to go the all the way out, this marathon, because it's gonna be a marathon, y'all. It's not gonna be a sprint. If you think this is gonna change in a week, you're naive. This is gonna be a situation that we have to understand this. I believe I'm a praying man. Prayer is one thing that I believe is necessary. Number two, I believe the church doors need to be open. Every religious leader, everyone who talks about Jesus, who, if you believe God for yourself, if the president was a love God-fearing man, then he's not acting in the love-fearing God that the Bible preaches. I'm being straightforward with you. So I just pray that we got to change and move forward. So keep it on, brother. We got going.
Absolutely. Thank you, Professor Fordham. You know, I always appreciate, respect, and love you for everything, man. I'm going to bring the next guy on. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. So next up, we got Mr. Jam Jones. Now, I don't really know Jam, but we about to get to know Jam, though. So, Jam, how you doing? First of all, introduce yourself to the audience.
My name is Mal. That's my Facebook tag. My name is Jamal Jones. I just Jam because sometimes they twist the words up, you know. So it's all good. And first and foremost, I want to thank you, show my appreciation for this link. My cousin Keith Small sent me the link earlier because
shout out to Keith.
Voice it. I trying to get the camera to work right. You know, I'm at work. I just happen to take a late break just so I can be a part of this.
All right, word. You got it, man. So just so you know, I got a 5-minute clock running.
Okay, that's cool. I was at the first actual protest Saturday morning, and I actually was downtown Saturday night. And what I want the people to know is the same way you can't determine how a person grieves after death, we can't basically say how they should react. Not to knock on anybody's toes, I am a God-fearing man. But this is not a God situation because this thing been going on for hundreds of years. You know what I mean? And I said that because the violence, all that stuff, yeah, I understand why they're doing it, although I'm not for it. But I feel as though a platform such as what you putting us in place for to make open discussions, we need to rally around each other as African Americans and put people in place on a local councilman forum so that they can make changes for us on a big stage. We got these old councilmen who basically living their lives the way they've been living it, and they don't understand they are not in tune with what's going on out here in the world. So we need to get a voting standpoint together so we can start local and start working ourselves up to make change. This is not going to, this violence and this looting and stuff like that is not going to bring forth change because all those stores are insured. They're going to get their money for what they're doing. But will we get a conviction after we done tear everything down? Will we get retribution or an enactment put in place for all the other officers that actually killed the men to get involved? We need to put something together so we can start putting the murders on ourselves well. Because this injustice is a big issue. It's not just about George Floyd. And I'm 70-30 on everything. I'm not going to lie to you. I just want to get something in place so we can put people in position to vote, so we can get younger voices, better situations put together so we can put those together and push them to get the path to actually make the law change. You know, it's the law. Sorry.
No, I got a question. No, I got a question for you. We still got like 2 minutes and 49 seconds for you, so you're good. I wanted to ask because you said you were there for the early part of the protest. Were you there in the evening as well, or just in the morning?
I was in the evening. I went down there to interview some of the protesters and ask them what were their main focus and reasons for actually being there, because everybody got their own agenda. Some people coming down there just to start ruckus. Some people coming there because they want injustice, like more Caucasian than anything. And I was down there at the latter part of it that night because I wanted to stop the loot and stop the burning because I don't want to burn down where I live. Don't burn down the Family Dollar because that's where I go get my grandmama medicine from.
Come on, somebody.
That ain't hurting them people. That hurting me. That hurt their house. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to go down there and be a part of that. And I got bandages and everything because I ended up in a situation where I was having to stop one thing and being in another. You know, so I was there for all of it. Any protest going on, I'm going to be there to support and to stop the buffoonery as well. Because that is not going to change the laws that can stop them from not convicting the cops that kill blacks. And one last thing, I know you probably got a few seconds.
You got a minute.
For all of you out there who willing to riot, for this Michael Steger situation, please be advised that he is not doing a 20-year sentence for the conviction of the murder of Walter Scott. He's doing the conviction for violating the ethic laws of which he took the oath for. It's a big difference. He was not convicted of murder. He had a hung jury. So don't use that situation to burn down where you live at now that he's coming back with something else.
Wow.
Stop burning stuff down and start registering the vote so we can get those old 50, 60, 70-year-old men out to see who can actually speak for the people who are living out here right now. And last but not least, thank you again for bringing me a part of the podcast.
Bro, thank you so much for joining me, man. Please continue to follow the show. I loved your energy. I loved your energy, man. Keep it going, and I'll definitely see you again soon in the future.
Me and your brother Ricardo, we very good friends. We did time together. No, that long since we were a kid. I love that boy.
Hey, you already know, man. You already know, Lou, man. We sort of tight like that. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.
And much respect to you, brother. I caught on quick. I didn't got your name. Sorry about that.
My name is Calvin, man. Like you keep doing what you're doing, brother. And that's what we need. We need people like yourself that are very informative, and you're pretty much helping solutions.
I mentor. I go to schools. I mentor. I stop them from blocking the kids up in the high schools and all that, man. I'm very active in the community. Very.
Word, man. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, man. Keep doing what you do. All right. I'm gonna bring the next person on.
Peace. I'm gonna continue watching. Go ahead.
Yeah, please keep watching, bro. Thank you. All right, all right.
Game changing moment, brother.
I'm telling you. So listen. I told you tonight we talking. I told you tonight we bringing on the people who are out there. We want to talk about that. So just again, on a baseline, right? What we're doing tonight is we're bringing people on to talk about their thoughts on the entire thing. You can talk about what your thoughts are on the protest. You can talk what your thoughts are on the cause. You can talk about your thoughts to the reaction. And you can talk about what President Trump just announced tonight, right before we came on. There's so many things to cover here. There's so many things to uncover here. All right, so I'm gonna bring on Brandon Fish, man. Brandon Fish. If you don't know who Brandon Fish is, man, listen. If food has been given away, in the past 3 years, Brandon has something to do with it. He's that guy. He's been that guy. Please introduce yourself, brother.
I am Brandon Fish. I work for an organization called Charleston Jewish Federation, and I'm the director of our Jewish Community Relations Council of Greater Charleston. Before I did any of that, I was a protest organizer. I worked with Muhyiddin Dabaha, one of my closest friends, unfortunately dearly departed. And we were very heavily involved in the round of protests that happened in 2015, especially in helping the Scott family get the Fade and Santana video. And I just want to say, I've heard Omar Fall say it, and I thought it bared repeating. A lot of the people that were protesting
Brandon? You good?
I think Brandon's stuck.
Brandon, you stuck, bro. Hold on. You got that Teddy Riley, man. Brandon, you got that Teddy Riley? Oh, Brandon.
Brandon got Teddy Riley going on.
You got Teddy Riley going on. Come on, Brandon. Don't do this.
Don't do it now. We're going too hot. Ladies and gentlemen who's listening to us, if you want to get connected with us right now, the information is available below on Facebook Live. If you want to be a part We are definitely boots on the ground. Brandon is a boots on the ground type of person.
Definitely.
Brandon, you back on with us?
I'm gonna skip to the next person. I'm bring Brandon back. I'm gonna skip to the next person. Brandon, if you can hear me, Brandon, just like go out and come back in, and I'll bring you back on. I'll bring you on after the next person. Next up, we got I don't know what Brandon got going on. I'm gonna remove him. All right, I'm gonna bring Brandon because Brandon about to talk that talk, man.
Yeah,
listen, so we're gonna bring on Keith Smalls. All right, Keith Smalls, you ready to go? Because I see you don't got your camera on. And I like to see people. I've been living in the Corona world where you don't get to see people, and like everybody's behind the screens. All I see is screens. So I need cameras now. This ain't a audio podcast. This is a video. But I'm gonna bring you on. Maybe you can just talk. Let me see. Let me make sure you good. Keith, you good? Keith. Oh.
Hello.
There you go.
What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Hey, man, how are you, man? You can hear me?
Yes, please introduce yourself to the audience. We
can
hear you great.
Me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, man. Keith Smalls. I'm a mentor, founder of my Communities Keeper Mentor Group. I'm from North Charleston, Ackerby Subdivision.
Yeah.
I'm also a member of CJCC, which is Charleston County Criminal Justice Coordinating Council. I'm a member of the Gun Violence Coordinating Council as well. I hold those positions in those organizations based on, situations in my life. I know we want to get to talking about the protest downtown. Just want to give you a little backdrop of who I am. All right. And me and you, Rajan, we were supposed to meet. You can tell where I'm at. So I'm in the hospital. My daughter had a situation. She's well. She'll be out Wednesday, but I'm down here with her. But I definitely wanted to get on and just share perspective. I really wanted to hear some of the conversations that's what's going on. Like I said, my name is Keith Smalls. I'm a mentor and founder of my Communities Keeper Mentor Group. Like I said, also in the CJCC, Tri-County Gun Violence Coordinating Council. I'm also in training to be a juvenile arbitrator. So I'm on the victim impact panel. I lost my son in 2016 to murder. He was 17. He got murdered on Dorchester Wheeling to a 15-year-old. So wow. He'll be 21 in a couple of weeks. So I was incarcerated for 19 years. I came home. I lost my son a year later. But since I've been home, I've been determined to, do my part in these communities. I'm in community. I'm a member of Ackerby Concerned Citizens. Have great relationships with, just trying to do all the best that I can do, everything that I could possibly do to kind of help these communities get back a sense of decency. We fighting the hell of a fight out here. We looking at this situation with Greg Lloyd, with George Floyd, and how it dominoed to get to this place. My cousin, he was just on Jamal. We went down there together, and he told me what his reasons was. He was like, "Yo, Keith," and apologizing. We just started a new organization. It's called South Carolina for Criminal Justice Reform, and that is an organization that we partnered with 3 attorneys from Charleston, local attorneys. One is from Columbia, so that's 4 attorneys, and the professor from a college of Charleston, a great friend of mine. In fact, Ali Menegowski, yesterday, she was out there as well protesting. And even in fact, her and her law firm, Adam Bushkoff, they were at the barn trailer yesterday morning, as well assisting people who needed help. I posted something about it on my timeline. Keith Smalls, you get a chance, you can go see it. Anybody who was arrested during a protest and you need legal help, Ali Menegowski's, they definitely are working it, and even the CJCC. But we were down there. My cousin, his intentions was to ask people, what do you want to do? What are you coming down here to do? What does the protest mean to you? I want to give you another situation and why that was so important to know why people were coming down there. And then there's another part that we come back to what we are doing now. So, when my son got murdered, I became a part of the conversation on gun violence and youth intervention and trying to help these youth, trying to get them back on track. And, and we're working on the victim impact panel. I talked to these guys, but a president candidate came to me when all these, the Democrats dinner and all these different political functions were being held in Charleston, and I even walked door to door for Pete Buttigieg. You know what I mean? And that was, the Douglas program. I thought the Douglas thing was going to be amazing. You know what I mean? But somebody else called, campaign organizer, wanted me to lend my ear and my voice to a story, lend my story to the campaign because my son was murdered and heard about, the things that I was doing. And I wouldn't do it because I just, my thing was that what is he going to do, when my voice and my video is attached to that? What is he going to do after the election? Is he coming back to, to help revitalize the communities? Is he's going to lend a hand in the efforts? And this is a presidential candidate. And that I'm not saying that makes me any bigger or better than anybody else. What I'm saying is, for me, when you hear about Keith Smalls, what matters to me is what's going on in our backyard. Me being previously incarcerated, me losing my son to gun violence. This matters. I'm passionate about this. So when we were down there, you know what I mean? My cousin, he was just like, okay, we want to ask these guys, what are they here for? Because at the end of the day, when it's over with, what are we doing in these communities? I go to community meetings from Shakora, Cherokee, Akabee. I go to Dorchester Wheeling meetings. There's people are not participating. I've coached Little League at Danny Jones, and we're trying to figure out, I have a team that we are building, trying to figure out how to make those connections. It's not easy, but it's work that needs to be done. And like my cousin was saying, like, it's supporting one another. No, these things are good. Something happened like this in order for us to have a conversation that has already been having, but it's just a simple fact that the people are not, how much time?
10 seconds.
All right. The people are not coming to the conversation. But what I'm saying is, hey, I support y'all brothers, man. Rajon, we're going to talk. Maybe one day this week, we definitely going to get together and we're going to have a conversation.
Sure.
And I'm going to lay some of the things down that what I'm doing with my communities, keep a mental group. Like, the protest doesn't need to stop. The conversation doesn't need to stop. We need real people in the boots. We need real people on the ground who really want to see it happen. You know what I mean? Whether it's a county council. I talked to Marvin Pendarvis. I talked to these guys, and he's trying to have these, conversations and saying, we're going to wake these guys up. We're going to get them out the vote. We're going to get them programmed. We want to try to do a bunch of different things, but we need to support each other. We really need to support each other. So
absolutely. Thank you so much, Keith, man. I really appreciate you joining us, man. Just to piggyback on what you were talking about as far as the things that need to happen. I think the biggest thing that you said for sure is that, like, protesting is a great option. It's not the only option. President Obama just did a article in the medium.com today where he was talking about the fact that people think that you either protest or you vote. You need to do both. You cannot, in order to truly impact change, you have to look at it from a multifaceted standpoint. There is no silver bullet to solve the problems that we want to solve, that we seek to solve. So that's working in the communities. That's working with the youth. That's working to make sure that we're preventing recidivism. That's making sure that we're reducing trauma. That's making sure that we're reducing sexual harassment. That's making sure that we're reducing oppression of all types. That's making sure that in November, we all get to the polls and support the candidates of our choice. I will never tell you who to vote for, but I will tell you need to understand what your interests are and make sure that you make that vote heard on November 3rd. And before that, on June 9th in your primary. But I'm going to stop there and get off my soapbox. I got to bring Brandon on. Thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate you, Keith. We will talk soon.
Yes, Keith. Let us know, man, if anything I can do myself.
Yes,
like I said, Rajon, like I said, Calvin Logan, like I said, let me know. Hey, when we get your voice be heard, it's always a joint discussion for a movement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Keith, man.
All right, bro.
All right. Next up, we have Brandon. He was going, and I'm gonna restart his timer because he had given us the introduction, but I'm gonna let him roll. So go ahead, cook, bro.
Sorry, we got a faulty internet connection here, but
You're that Teddy Riley, man.
I'm trying to pick up as little time and space as I can. There's a lot of important voices to be heard. I want to hear those voices too. I was just saying, in the middle of saying that a friend of mine, Omar Fall, pointed out that a lot of these young people to protest grew up seeing peaceful protests and the things that we tried to do back in 2015 not work really well. I don't want to take away from the accomplishments of what happened. There's been a racial bias audit of the Charleston Police Department. There's been a great deal of research done, specifically by the Avery Research Institute, who commissioned a study that demonstrated in almost every category the profound racial disparities that exist in Charleston County. But putting back on my professional hat, now I work for the Charleston Jewish Federation. It was something that Muhyiddin told me that I would do and should do, which is go back to my community and try to build bridges from the Jewish community to the Black community to make sure that we were fully supporting the Black community and that we were doing everything that we can to be in solidarity. So in keeping with that, since I started there, we started a Jewish Community Relations Council. We do an incredible amount of food outreach and food deserts, but that's not really enough. It is important work. But as of today, we issued an official statement, not just a statement, but an intention that all of these forms of institutional racism that are manifesting in situations like the murder of George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery, that we recognize how this institutional racism is working, that we want to listen to the voices that are being elevated in these protests, that we understand that 400 years of racism and intergenerational pain is what is showing up here at these protests and things moving way too slowly in terms of fixing these problems. And what I'm here to say basically is that the Jewish community wants to play any position it can, utilize any kind of resources it has to address these issues, whether that be using our privilege, our connections with law enforcement, our working relationships with our governmental leaders. We are here to work with the Black community. We are open to these conversations, and more than conversations, we are committing ourselves to taking action any way we can. We told Joe Cunningham on a call today that that the Black agenda or anything to do with institutional racism should be considered the Jewish agenda and should be and we are on board to work for and towards any of those things. Before I run out of time real quick, something that we have been working on since before this uprising has taken place across the country is one of our big priorities is a hate crime law. South Carolina is one of 4 states in the entire country that doesn't have laws protecting targeted groups of people like Black people, like LGBTQ people, Hispanic people, people based on their national origin or their sexual orientation. There's no laws in the book protecting people like that. There's no statewide system in place for tracking these incidents, which means that we get less resources here to fight those incidents from major organizations. It also means that our law enforcement across the state does not get the training and resources it needs to recognize and enforce hate crime laws. We need to have a statewide system tracking those things. Right now, people could get harassed for their race or their religion or their or anything, and there's nothing to punish them for doing that. There's no aggravating factor. I always use the example like Lewis Smith, a friend of mine in Somerville, got Confederate flag left on his door and these cryptic notes, and there's no law to track that incident to say we are seeing a huge upsurge in white supremacist KKK stuff happening in Somerville. There's nothing in place to do that. This Wednesday, last thing I'll say is this Wednesday, we're having a call with the Anti-Defamation League to talk about why we need a hate crime law, how that works. We would encourage you to stay tuned on our JCRC page and to join us. The link to register is bit.ly/hatefreesc. And we'll be talking tomorrow at about 5:30 about how those laws work. But we also just wanted to say we're in solidarity. We're in solidarity with all of the people that are fighting to make a change. And I'm proud to be able to do that on behalf of the Jewish community, not just on behalf of myself, working with activists. So thanks for having me on.
Yes, bro.
Amen.
Before you get off, I want to say this to you, because you said some stuff in there that was really, really important. You talked about the fact that the Jewish community said that the Black agenda should be the Jewish agenda, like that. We talk about allies, right? We talk about people standing together and banding together. Standing together and banding together is not fighting the police for us physically. It's fighting the systems that allow the police to do the things that the police have been allowed to do since forever, right? So thank you so much for you coming on. Thank you for everything that you do in the community. Like I said, if food has been given away in the last 3 years, Brandon probably had something to do with it. I know it because I've seen it for myself. So thank you so much for joining us, man. Calvin, anything you say before we move on?
Lewis Smith, Shakim Aket, all these people, we don't do anything that we do by ourselves. We do it with grassroots community partners. Edward Jones on the east side. No work should be done by people coming from outside of a community. and just showing up. It should be empowering grassroots groups to spread their work. So
thank you, bro.
Now, one question for Brandon before you go. What about in regards to the Jewish community, the financial aspect? The reason why I say the financial aspect is because, you know, the Jewish community, dollars turn about 7 times the amount. What would it take for us to be able to partner with you to make sure that the dollars turn into our community? I know you're focusing on the Black agenda, but the one thing that we hurt in our system is that Black businesses, and we're not given a fair shake when it comes to financial gain. So is any way that, like, you know, for me, I love to have you on the show and talk more, but how can we partner with you in regards to the financial aspect? Because that's the biggest key thing. Because everybody, my father always told me all the time, the green speaks. The green dollar speaks. So how can we partner with you, with people who are watching you right now and want to say, let's get the financial aspect? How can we do that?
Well, I would say that, you know, just to give an example of some of what we're trying to do, you know, we have a big national network of organizations. The Jewish Federation of Charleston is just a part of it. We have federations in a bunch of different cities. Wherever there are Jewish people, they're usually federations. Their job is just to build community. And one of the things that's happened with this CARES Act, the first COVID-19 Relief Act, was that money was passed to help small businesses and nonprofits stay in office. And because we have a big network of organizations, we have somebody in Washington whose job it is to stay on top of this and figure out how we could benefit from these acts. One of the first things that I did when I found out about the CARES Act and about the PPP loans that small businesses were eligible for, basically for free money to keep their employees on payroll. First person I reached out to was Shakim Maquette and the Community Resource Center to figure out how we could pass along this crucial information that, because of our network, we have access to a lot of information about it, but maybe small business owners, especially in the Black community, barbershops, real small businesses, they don't hear about these opportunities as easily. And every time that we hear about something like that, we are more than happy and willing and motivated to pass that on to everybody else in the community, and certainly people that are hurting the hardest over this COVID stuff. And you know, it's because it's small business owners. It's not like Steak and Shake or whoever that's or Popeyes that's suffering from this COVID thing. It's all these individual small businesses, Black-owned businesses, Black-owned restaurants. These are the things that are going to disappear because they're losing money and never come back. And I think that's what makes Charleston. Honestly, that's the thing that makes Charleston special. Nana's Seafood, Hannibal's, all these small businesses that really display like the history of Charleston and what they're doing. We got to make sure that those things survive. So as I have access to information, I can guarantee you that I'm passing that on to whoever wants to hear it. And I would love to come on your show and talk more. And I just really appreciate you having me on because, you know, it's important that we say these things to our elected officials. But I want you all to know that that we're saying these things to our elected officials and that this is where we're at, because we need to work together on a variety of issues. And we can't really tackle these issues unless a bunch of different groups are working together on them. So thank you. I don't want to take up any more time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much. So they capped me in the room at 10, so I got to make sure I get people in. But thank you so much, Brandon. I appreciate you, bro.
All right. Have a good night.
All right. Cool. Kenya, come in the room. Come in and I got you, Kenya. All right. So we rolling now. We got to make sure we keep people to 5 minutes because we got people like. So if you're in the backstage, my backstage people, if y'all are back there, I need y'all to not be. If you already spoke, just because it caps me at having 10 people backstage and people who are trying to call in, they can't get in if you're back there watching. So you can watch it on the Facebook, you can watch it on YouTube. By the way, let me pause right there and say thank you guys so much for watching me on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching me on YouTube. You don't have to do it, but you do. My name is Rajon Lewis. I'm the host, Rajon Lewis, and my co-host is Calvin Logan. Hit him.
Logan Power Show. Hey, it's a blessing to be with us. Hey, we're gonna have a good time today. It's our voice, and we're here, man. You're on fire, brother.
Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. So next up, we got Aaron. All right. We got Aaron from Uplift Charleston. If you do work in Charleston, you've met Aaron. You know Aaron. Aaron does work. Aaron's in the dark right now. I don't know if this is symbolic or what, but Aaron got his cool shades on and he's about to talk to us. 5 minutes, brothers. Shoot.
To pile on there, the black agenda should be the white agenda. It should be the Christian agenda. It should be all of our agendas because we're all in this together. And when we see people who are marginalized and depressed, we should lift them up. We should uplift them. And so we need to make sure that if we're going to be allies, that we make their agenda our agenda, especially our elected leaders. If they're not doing the job of the black communities who are neglected, especially in Charleston and around our low country area, we need to vote them out. We need to get people in there who are going to push forward to invest in the black communities because they have not been invested. We've got elected leaders who have been in there for decades and they've done nothing for the black community, but also the Latino community, the Hispanic community. There's a lot of poverty and a lot of marginalization going on. Gentrification. We got to vote, especially coming in here in June and in November. And so I'm honored to be a part of Uplift Charleston. We have a group of around 8,000 people right now in the low country who are constantly uplifting the community through the homeless population, Hispanic, the black communities. And so we've been invested in a lot of these protests lately. We've been there Saturday. We put on our own protest on Sunday morning. It was a peaceful protest, and it was amazing to see so many people show up. And so we are definitely here to support the black community and lift them up.
Amen.
Yeah, I got a question for you, Aaron. So I do know that y'all staged the protest. Y'all were on the Battery, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so I want to ask you a question. What the peaceful protest that you guys did, was there a heavy police presence there?
They started off with like 2.
And if so, can you speak to the interactions that y'all had?
Yeah. So before we started, I met with them and let them know what the plans were. That the plan was to stop at 12. This was not a permitted protest, so I knew that we were going to break the law because at some point we were at 50 at the beginning, and then it grew to around 500 or so. So to not get anyone hurt and make sure that no one's arrested or getting in trouble, we were going to cut it off and ask people to disperse peacefully. And I'm glad that did. But at the end, just because it did get so big, there was an increased police presence, but they were not combative at all. We knew that they were coming, so we just wanted to make sure everybody got out of there safe. They did make the announcements that, hey, this is unlawful, which we understood, and that we had to go, and we did. And after it was over,
all right, so
they thanked us for being that sort of thing.
So do you think that the response that you received from the police, even after you guys were violating the curfew laws, do you think that had anything to do with the racial aspect?
Well, we didn't violate a curfew law. We were done by noon. We violated the ordinance that says you gather 50 or more. So I can't speak to a curfew. But I can say about our protest.
Oh no, that was but that was my distinction, because yesterday at Marion Square,
I was there too.
Oh yeah, so you were there at the 4 o'clock one that they did at Marion Square yesterday?
I was just walking around with some friends. I walked by myself, thought this new protest going on, so I did not participate, but I was following to see what was going on, because there was a heavy police presence. But I did document it with video and pictures, and I was there during the tear gas. I was there during the arrests. And I think that it's a distinction. Do you want to, when they say leave, that it's awful, do you want to leave, or do you want to continue for your protest? So when they would continue the protest, that it did escalate. But glad that it did not escalate in terms of violence, but it did dissipate. Violence meaning no one was hurt, beaten, that sort of thing. There were
all right.
But I will.
All right, brother. Go ahead.
That the Confederate flaggers were there. They were, when they are 5 against 5, they fly their Confederate flags proudly. And we always said that this is not our community. They do not represent us. But when there were 500 of us there, they were cowards, and they did not put up one Confederate flag. And so we got our voice across that is not represent our community. These people here around the Battery, they were representing our community who are about peace and love and standing up for Black lives. And they left, and we had our voice heard, and it was really awesome. So we're thinking about doing another one next Sunday to continue that, to let them know that they are not welcome, that they are not representing the community, that hate and that terrorism is not okay.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for that. Thank you for all that you do. Charleston, go ahead and plug it one more time. Charleston, Uplift Charleston.
Uplift Charleston. Check us out on our social media. And again, we're out there. It's not just only for homeless. It's for anyone who's marginalized and oppressed. And right now, it's important that we are allies for the Black community. And so we stand with you. And we want to help lift these voices out there that said, hey, police brutality is not okay. And that Black lives matter, and all lives will. And Black lives matter, because that is something that people don't understand. All lives matter, but they will not matter until Black lives matter. Until a police officers will give someone the dignity of their life, to not put their knee in someone's neck because they're Black and because they think they're a threat. That George Floyd's life did not matter to him, and so we got to stop with all this lives matter. Of course, all lives matter, but all lives will matter once Black lives matter. So we got to keep that going.
Thank you so much.
Peace.
Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate you, bro. Keep watching and tuning in, man. Thank you guys so much. You are the man. I appreciate you, bro. All right. So next up, we're gonna bring another one of my guys on. I think next is that's it, Tron. All right. So next up is my guy who needs to get into the camera so we can see his face. He's actually another one of my mentees. You know, I got these are proud moments for me. These are proud moments for me because these young men are young men that I've been able to watch, you know, rise and grow and become the young men that they are. Apparently, he just wants us to look at his orange wall right now. I'm not sure why, but we need to see his face. Needs to come back to me. I need a minute. Oh, you are killing me, Tron. You know what? You're not getting that good intro I was about to give you next time at all. Where's Shakim? All right. Shakim disappeared. You ready now, Tron? Or you need a minute still? You on mute, bro. You on mute. You're on mute. Take yourself off mute. Stop trying to be cool. I'll unmute you. Let me see. No, I can't unmute you because you muted yourself. Go out and come back in, Patron. Go out and come back in. I'll bring you on next. Oh, now I can hear you. All right, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
All right, go out and come back. Go and come back in, Patron, because I don't know what you got going on. All right, cool. So after Patron with Shakim, who's not in the room right now. All right, so we'll wait for him, and then we got Andrew. All right, cool. My bro Andrew's up now. Okay, so we're gonna go to Andrew. And all right, so I'm gonna go ahead and pre let them know whatever Andrew's about to say is Andrew's opinion.
Oh, really? That's how it is?
Andrew's opinion.
That's how it is?
All right, bro. Go ahead. Introduce yourself, my brother. You know I love and respect you. Go ahead and cook.
Well, I mean, my name is Andrew Burnell. I'm a coach. I'm an acrobatic coach, gymnastics coach, personal trainer. I'm a writer. I'm actually Rajan's personal trainer. So that's how I get down in the community, and that's kind of what I love to do. That is my outreach. That is how I help. I like to tell people, you know, I'm not a spiritual person. You know, I'm an atheist, but you know, that is my ministry. My ministry is, you know, helping people physically get right, mentally get right, and that's how I feel I do the most good.
Okay.
All right. So what are your thoughts on this whole thing? I mean, you can pick any topic from this entire thing. You can talk about, you know, your feelings on the George Floyd killing. I apologize. George Floyd. You talk about the protests. You can talk about the aftermath. You can talk about where you see it going, or you can talk about this thing with President Trump releasing the news that he's activating the United States military against American citizens. Go.
Right. Okay. So I know I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'll try to make it very quick. You know, the George Floyd thing. I mean, what can I say? I'm a black man. That's a damn shame. That's a damn shame that a black man was murdered like that in cold blood. But it's going to happen again, and it's going to happen again, and it's going to keep happening again until black people, we get tired of it. Black people, we're not tired of it yet. Because if we were really tired about it, if we were really tired over it, we would be doing the things necessary to make sure that things like that don't happen again. I know that's a hard thing to hear, but the reality of the situation is we have no power. The reason that we have no power is because we keep doing all this protesting and praying, and none of that been working. We need money. We need to figure out how to funnel our resources and channel our resources in a way that can help us. We need to set up systems so that when our young ones are going out, they're not seen as nuisances. They're seen as the future, right? Because in case y'all haven't noticed, that's what little white kids are. When little white kids go outside to play, they're seen as the future. Our kids are seen as nuisance, right? And we need to change the narrative. We have to start changing the narrative. Damn all this, Rajon, I've talked to you about this. Whenever there's a tragedy in the Black community, the very first thing you see from people is they'll show you the hugs thing, where the guy is going up with the free hug shirt, and how much I hate that. One of the main reasons why I hate that so much is because, stop trying to get people to see your humanity. You're human. That's the bottom line. You're human. Stop trying to make yourself be seen as human. You know what I'm saying? Let's figure out ways that we can stop that foolishness and actually work on real effective change, right? And I just feel like so far the Black community, we have failed ourselves. We failed ourselves because we keep wanting, we want white officers and white supremacists to notice our humanity. We're not effective with our money, and the rest of us, we're praying for change, which ain't working, and it hasn't worked for 400 years. In case you ain't been counting, your God was silent for all the years we were slaves. You know what I'm saying? So let's figure out a way that we can have effective change. So I mean, that's me in a nutshell.
So the question I have for you,
let me ask you this, because you stated. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like I said,
I was gonna go.
Go ahead. You go ahead, Rajon. You got it, man.
You take it. You take
I
it.
got it. So you're saying that for 400 years we've been oppressed, and I totally get it. So what are some key points in regards to solution? The reason why I asked, you said financial and solution. Well, the number one spender is African Americans, right?
We have no problem getting money. We have no problem getting money, and that's the thing that people, I think, fail to understand. My family is a wonderfully creative family. They are amazing. They are gifted. They are talented, and they are broke. And a big part of the reason they are broke isn't because they don't know how to get money. It's because they don't know how to spend their money. They don't know. They literally have no financial literacy. And I keep going back to that because I'm learning lessons at 33. 10 seconds, Rajon. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I'm learning lessons at 33 that these little white kids out here learning at 6 years old. We have to change that conversation, right? We're $1 trillion people, $1 trillion people, but yet we're throwing our money away. And half of this stuff isn't going to get better because money talks. Money is power. And once we start utilizing our money collectively, look up and let me just say this, Rajon, look up how the dollar spends in different communities, right? The lifespan of a dollar, right? And in white communities, the dollar spends like some 12 to 15 hours. Hispanic community, some 15 to 24 hours. Asian communities, a few days. In Jewish communities, the dollar is spending 30 some odd days, literally a month. But $1 is rotating around. And in a Black community, our dollar barely lasts in 7 hours. You know what I'm saying? Wow. So we ain't got no problem getting a point. We have a problem with spending our dollars. And we need to start teaching financial literacy to our kids. And we need to start opening up our own businesses. And we need to start empowering ourselves instead of waiting for people to give us power. Like that question you asked Jewish homeboy, oh, how can we get some of your money? Nah, damn all that. Get your own money. I know you want to let me off, but this is important for Black people here. Like, just stop asking people, oh, how can y'all help us? Let us help ourselves. We have it. We are smart enough. We are capable enough. We don't need nobody to help us. Let's get this money on our own and let's spend it with our own people. And I bet you once we're in power, I bet you cops won't kill us no more. I bet you if cops are afraid to kill us, they wouldn't kill us. And the only way they're going to be afraid of killing us is if we are in a place of financial power and security.
Yes, he's right.
You right, brother. Okay. You're right. You're speaking the truth.
I know. Hey, I knew. Hold on. The thing is, I knew once you started getting cooking, I was gonna have to cut you off. And see, this is the problem with you. But you make great points, man. Like financial, like I. This is what I want you to do, Andrew. Can you go off and come back and get back in the queue?
Okay, so just leave and then come back.
And yeah, I'm just gonna put you in the back of the queue. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I want to ask you a question. I need to ask you a question.
I got you. I'll leave and then I'll come back.
All right, cool. Thank you so much, man. All right, I appreciate you, bro.
Hey, it's getting hot in here. I appreciate it. That's what we need.
Look, that's my guy. Andrew's my guy. You know, we disagree on a lot. Most of our training sessions is me and him arguing about stuff. But the guy is sharp as a tack. I tell you, the guy is sharp as a tack. All right, cool. So I said my next person will be Tron, and he looked like he changed shirts and everything. Oh, he done got pretty fuzz. Okay, let me bring my guy on. All right, so this is Patron. Patron is my guy. He's one of our mentees with the Distinguished Gentlemen's Club Mentoring Program. Shout out to DGC. All right, and what you come to talk to us about here, my brother?
It's on you.
So, can you hear us? Patron?
Yeah, I'm Patron French, as Res talked to. What I think about is the situation in total is a little crazy, and I've been looking on social media what people's been posting, and it's really been breaking my heart because people are just insecure about it, and they're not thinking that they're being inconsiderate to the family lives and the people that's been hurt. And what I've thought about is how if you're at somebody's father's funeral, you wouldn't go up and say, my father's dead too. And that's how people are saying all lives matter right whenever somebody says Black lives matter. And you're trying to surround everybody else into our one idea. Because whenever a group of Black people come together for something, everybody else tries to make it for everybody. And it's not fair when we've been hurt. We had everything taken from us. We've been taken from our homes. We've been our technology taken, our history taken, and we're supposed to build ourselves up, but we don't know what to build upon. So it's hard for us to help one another when we don't know what to begin with. And we don't help our brothers. And instead, we tend to tear each other down, which is heartbreaking.
Let me ask you this, Patron, because you're a younger guy. Did you watch the stuff that was going on in Charleston Saturday night, the protest?
I did for a short period of time. And
what were your thoughts? When you saw what was going on as far as the protest? I don't know if you've been watching them nationally. What do you feel as you watch these people that are protesting silently or protesting violently, as the people have said it? Do you feel that you want to go out there and become a part of that? And if so, which side would you be on? Would you want to protest silently or would you want to protest violently? I'm wondering from your generation, because we need to hear from younger people about this.
What I say is I want to protest peacefully, because it's your actions speak louder than your words. Even though you may not be doing anything, it means that you're not acting out of aggression. You're thinking it through. And I read a quote before the riots began is, if a government is if a government is perfect, there wouldn't be any reason to tear it down. Like there would be no reasons for a riot if the government was fine. And as everything's happening right now, it's I feel the urgency to go out there and fight back, but it's going to be hurtful for everyone that's still losing their lives. Yes, some will lose their lives for a good reason, but not everyone is in the right mind to do it or have their heart intent for it. And that's
Thank
what
you
I
so
think
much,
about
man.
it.
Thank you so much, bro. I'm going to tell you, he went off the call.
Smart. That's a
but
smart young man.
That's my guy, man. Like Patron's my guy, and like that's the crazy thing about mentorship. I'm gonna go ahead and take a second to plug mentorship. If you don't understand, so two of the young men that were on this call tonight, man, were my mentees, man, and he's backing me. I want him to hear what I'm saying. Two of these young guys, Zach and Patron, are both my mentees, man, and I've been able to watch these young men, come into their manhood as they grow and they learn. And by doing that, we're able to have these discussions. When we talk about changing our community, when we're talking about the multi-prong, because remember we said there's no silver bullet to solve these problems. But if you are not positively impacting our youth, you are missing out on a big piece of what it's going to take to solve the problems of our nation. Kids like you, Patron, kids like you, Zach, y'all make me hopeful, man. Y'all give me hope for the future, and this is why me and Calvin do what we do, man. We got to spread this. We got to spread the word to the people, and we got to make sure we're educating young men like yourselves so that you can take the baton. And trust me, when it's time, I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to Zach. I'm giving it to my DGC boys. I'm not going to be up here at 60 years old trying to be on Real Talk with Rajon telling people what it really is. I can't do it at that age. We got to be able to pass the baton to you. So I think that's another piece of it. Is my boy Troy McClain always says, you can't have success if you're not building successors. You can't have success if you're not building successors. So shout out to Troy McClain for that. And thank you, bro. I love you. I love you, man. I love you. But I'm gonna get the next person on. All right.
Yes, sir. We on fire. That's a great man. God bless you, young man. Keep doing what you do, man. You're doing a real good thing in the community, Rajon. It's gonna pay off, brother. I promise you.
Hey, man, I believe it. I believe it, man. Hey, you see my guys. You see how my face lights up when my guys come on, man. Like you see what time it is. All right. So next up, we got the legend himself. The legend himself.
That's it. That's the legend right there. Tell you.
Yeah, the legend himself.
That's a newsman right there. That's a foot soldier newsman. You follow his live, boy. You like saying that man in the streets.
On Kim Live. First of all, before I even start your timer, what kind of cell phone were you using that your battery power lasted that long?
Exactly.
Like your phone was uber on. Introduce yourself, brother.
Yeah. You're right. I got a Note 10 Plus, so the battery life is just totally absurd. And they come with like this real fast charger, and it's like totally absurd how quick your phone fast is. But I'm Kim. I'm an activist here in the community. I've been around a long time, man. Know a lot of people. All y'all brothers are real close to me. Talking about the issue, right? I've been privy to actually being in the protest and kind of listening and following along and voicing my opinion and my concerns. One of the things that I think now we need to start doing is negotiating while advancing, right? Because we start looking at strategies of war, like when you start looking at like the 33 strategies of war, Sun Tzu and the art of war, you got to negotiate while you're advancing. So in this particular war, we're advancing, right? Whether or not the people like the strategy or not, we're still advancing as an army. So what we're going to have to do is find the people who can sit in the back and negotiate and say, listen, these are the terms that people are moving on. These are the demands. In order for us to be able to slow down the advancing army, these are the demands that are going to have to be met. So when you look at it here locally, it's obvious that a group of 400 protesters are unstoppable by Berkeley County, Charleston County, North Charleston, and the city of Charleston. They could not stop 400 angry protesters in the streets. They didn't have the equipment and they didn't have the bandwidth to stop that. So if we're negotiating while we're advancing, we're talking to police chiefs, we're talking to Burgess, we're talking to Reynolds, we're talking to Tecklenburg, we're talking to Summey, we're talking to LC Knight. You know, we're talking to them and saying, listen, we're talking to Maurice Washington, you know, Colleen Condon, we're talking to Wendell, we're talking to Nancy Mace, you know, we're talking to Pendarvis, we're talking to Jay Moore, we're talking to our sister Krystal, we're talking to Mike Brown, Jerome Haywood, we're talking to City Council, County, and we're saying, listen, these are the demands of the people. This is what they want. They're requesting things like oversight and transparency, right? So
yeah, I want you to stop right there. Because you just dropped the bomb right there. I want people to understand. Shakim started out as a community organizer, but guess what Shakim just did? Shakim just showed you that he knows who his legislators are. He showed you that he knows the people who can effectively impact the change that we wish to see. Shakim just didn't go out there to break stuff. Shakim knew this is a part of a process. And if you watch the video, Shakim didn't break anything. So if you're trying to indict him, bro, he didn't break anything. But Shakim was out there. Shakim knows his legislators. He knows the people who can positively impact change. I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I said that. Go, bro.
Right. Okay, so when you look at the art of negotiating while advancing, right, this is the perfect time. We're in election season. Joe Cunningham is going to be in a very tight race. Joe Cunningham is the U.S. legislator, right? So what we got to do is we got to sit down with Joe Cunningham. Joe Cunningham would be stupid to turn anybody down right now at this particular point in time with whoever has the black community comes to him and says, Joe, this is what we want you to advance as far as legislation or using your influence, your positive influence to help make a change. This is what we want from you. Nancy Mace, who sort of is the front runner for GOP, she'd be stupid because she's a state legislator. She'd be stupid now not to meet with the black community and say, listen, the GOP has totally ignored what we ever have asked for. So right now we need to pressure her and say, you're in a race with Joe Cunningham for District 1. If you want to get that chair, whoever wants that seat, you need to come through us. Absolutely. And we can channel that energy right now, that anger and that frustration, we can channel it. That's why negotiating while advancing is so critical. So we have to really see ourselves as, you know what, there's a saying, and I don't remember who said it. I always hear people attribute it to so many people, but never waste what does it say? Never waste an opportunity in a crisis.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. So right now we got an opportunity. I mean, and I hate to say it like that, but in all honesty, we have an opportunity. So what we have to do is sit down and with those who are negotiators, because I always say you got to have a negotiator on side of the agitators. So you have the people that are agitating, you have the people that are frustrated, you have the people that are not willing to compromise by any means necessary out in the street. They're looking for somebody to come in who's unapologetic to say, listen, these are the demands of the protesters. They're looking for those of us who have the political influence and the political say-so to come together and put aside petty differences and say, these are the issues that we want to address. Let's take them and address them. Right now is a time where we have the attention of government officials, and no matter what Trump says about he wants to deploy military tactics and all of that, I don't agree with that, because I'm a constitutionalist, and I think that's unconstitutional to do. But at the end of the day, Trump, we have everybody's attention, Tim Scott, whoever. So if we want to continue to apply pressure, we got to sit back as negotiators and come to the table ASAP, because we got to ride the wave of the momentum. If we lose this momentum, we're losing an opportunity to put pressure and apply pressure in the right direction.
Yo,
amen.
Mic drop, my guy. Mic drop, my guy. You came through, you nailed it like I knew you would. Just so y'all know, when I thought about doing this forum, the first person I texted was, hey, Shakim, I'm thinking about doing a talk. What you got? And he said, I got you. Say less. So my guy came through. He dropped that bomb. I'm glad to hear that you're not sticking with the Trump with the military action, because I was going to ask you that question.
I disagree with that. I disagree with him on that. Yeah, I disagree.
You cannot activate the U.S. military against American citizens, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, the military is not made for
the
military is not made to be a domestic police force. I mean, no matter what, that's unconstitutional.
Calvin?
Got it. Now, what about Lindsey Graham? Because see, Lindsey Graham's seat is up. Lindsey Graham's seat is up this fall. So I'm
30
saying.
seconds.
So I would say, what is your take
30
on
seconds.
how to? Is he for us? You think, or not for us? In your personal opinion.
Well, this is the thing. See, one of the things about strategy, right, is you can force a person to be for you when you have that relationship, that power relationship. So he might cringe at the thought of doing something for us, but since we have the hand, the hand that's dealt is in our favor, then we can make him sign something that he doesn't want to sign. It's a political strategy that's done all the time. So whether or not he's for black people or not, or for the protesters or not, if we have the momentum, we can force people to do what they don't want to do if the pressure is applied in the correct area. Thank you, my brothers.
So much. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You already know, man. I love you and support you. Keep doing what you do, all right?
Yes, sir. Peace and love, family.
Peace and love, bro. All right. We keeping it moving. Listen, man, I told y'all tonight we was talking about it. I told y'all tonight I was bringing the people on. I told y'all tonight it was going to happen. Next up, we got Representative. It's not you. It is not you at all, daughter. My kids, man, they're funny. Listen, next up, we have Representative Krystal Matthews. She is an elected official, but she's not somebody to play with. Play with your mama. She was but she is here for it. She's here to give her thoughts. She was at the rally. She was at the protest in the morning, especially, I knew. So I wanted her to come on and give her thoughts on what's going on and where we're headed. Speak on it, sister.
Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Glad to be here. Glad to be
What's
on.
up,
I see
sis?
y'all fired up and ready to roll on them tonight.
Ready to go.
No, don't say it. I guess I can specifically talk about the protests and the rallies, that what's going on downtown, and tell you guys a little bit about what I've been doing on my end. Is, you know, some of it has been peaceful and some of it has not been peaceful. But honestly, I feel like this is like shaking a soda can. When you shake a pop and apply so much pressure, once you open it, the fizz goes everywhere. You don't get to control where the fallout is. And Black people have been under pressure. They have been steady applying pressure to us for years and years and years. And we have tried to take the high moral ground, and that has not worked for us. But I would like to echo the sentiments of Dr. Cornel West about, you know, being able to appreciate the common folk. Common folk create noise and ruckus. And sometimes you need that noise and ruckus. If simply following the rules and having people in high places in legislation was the answer, surely we would not be oppressed. I am 39 years old, and the problem has not been solved in my 39 years of life, and I don't have another 39 to give it because my kids will have to live through it. So if we keep doing the same things, we will keep getting the same results. Part of my frustration is the governor is saying we can peacefully protest, and then we have the police doing sometimes opposite things that are going on downtown with the rubber bullets and the tear gas. And I keep hearing people ask, like, you know, why is it we were just standing there and we were just this? And, you know, so I called, and, you know, of course I started off as myself, and, you know, I was like, I'm upset. And they were like, hold on. I was like, no, I am mad. They were like, okay, so what happened? And I'm like, I need to know if y'all changed rules of engagement and didn't tell nobody. Well, that's not a fair fight. You know, that's not how we work, you know. So with that, I was able to get a little bit more information. But let me just talk to y'all and be real Black for just a second. I can't see comments.
Do that, sis.
Let me just be real. Let me be real Black, because I don't really base what I say or do on my reelection. So if you don't know that about me, you should learn that very quickly. I am not going to condemn my people for feeling. And the one thing that I refuse to do is allow other people to condemn my people for feeling. I refuse to let other people control the narrative. A lot of what is going on is induced by white folks. And I ain't saying white folks ain't with us. They can be allies, that's fine. But a lot of this is induced by them. And it's like watching a child. When a child is young, they don't know any fear, so they challenge anything. White people have not had to live under the same umbrella of caution that we have for years. So are we going to be a little more hesitant? Most certainly. However, right, we have people of our own people who don't walk with us, who don't say nothing. Let me just call out some not named. But
okay.
She better put.
If y'all pay attention, who show up when the news show up, who show up when it's time to reprimand our people, but they don't show up when it's time to help us fight. And y'all got to be careful when it comes to, I can talk about the area I'm in, which is an elected official. You got to be careful about Black elected officials who will sell you a dream trying to get your vote, but don't move on your behalf. If you're not moving the needle, sometimes you got to move yourself out of the way, but people are so in a hurry to get to power and access that they can't see it. Now, I know a lot of people on this podcast may be Democrats, and I don't mean no harm, but Brother Burnell, I don't know you, but let me tell you something. Y'all way too soft for me. I'm a new Democrat, honey. And if y'all ain't ready to fight and slash some people and get rid of folks that don't need to be there, then you can't roll with me, because that's not how I work. We got people who so quick to try to get along, go along to get along, and searching for white acceptance so hard that they can't see the forest for the trees. If you find them telling you that they're making demands that seem unreasonable, then they probably are not going to get it, but they're going to tell you that they were fighting for it. That's a ploy. That's a tactic, y'all. That's called politicking. Be very, very careful when you hear people saying that. There's a reason why people call me from all over the low country to come handle issues when it ain't my district. No shade, but whatever. Okay, so like when it comes to these protests, y'all, I ain't telling nobody not to do nothing. I think we need to fight on all different levels. I think all of our voices are needed. I don't think you need to feel the pressure to do something that is not in your wheelhouse. I think you need to stay in your wheelhouse when it comes to how you feel like you want to protest or how you feel like you want to express yourself. And I think that you should be less politically correct in trying to do so and more authentic. To our white allies who keep asking us what to do, what can I do to help? I'm not going to tell you to pray with me because I don't pray like that. But what you can do, though, is stick to your area of expertise. If you are a lawyer, if you are a doctor, if you are working a nursing home, there are loopholes in every area that they use to keep their foot on our neck. Every time they do something that is crazy, they find a law from 1702, bring it back and use it. Do you understand?
1807.
Well, martial law.
1807.
He went way
there
back.
we go.
You work in an area and you see loopholes where there could possibly be, I'm trying to cover that light, y'all, disparities, then you need to be vigilant in helping us. I don't believe that allied.
Oh, hold on. You back? I can't hear
you. Somebody call me, y'all. I don't know how to put my phone on do not disturb.
Do not call Krystal while she's talking to me.
Do not call me. But I don't believe ally just means praying and walking and clapping and yelling with us. One of the things that I want to say to the people on this live stream is follow through. We lack follow through. We good at the rah, but we ain't got no follow through, y'all. When they say the money's supposed to be going to our communities, you mean to tell me I can't get two people that sit at home who work from home or something to follow up to see if the money actually went to the right place anyway? Come on, y'all. I can't. We got city council people who keep voting to build stuff that the community ain't never heard of. They don't know about it. They ain't heard about it. They ain't seen it. It just whoop, one day it was there. No, it wasn't just there. But we need somebody to be the eyes, and everybody don't have to watch the same thing. Everybody has a village except white folks. This ain't no shade toward white people, y'all.
Wow.
I got the Daniel Island moms over there getting ready to get kicked out of their group. Listen, everybody white ain't the devil, but white people were raised. You got to understand what you're dealing with. They were raised more like rugged individualism. I think Benny Starr gave me that word. And most of us were raised in a village. Black people have always had a village. We live with our families. We live with family members. We were raised together. Asians have a village. Mexicans also have a village. They're the only ones who don't have a village. So is it inconceivable to me that they can't empathize when our village is hurting? Not at all. But guess what? I don't need them to empathize, but they're going to put some respect on our name. And if I had a few more people at the state house that was less concerned with what folks was gonna say if they made a misstep on TV. Come on, somebody.
Come on, somebody.
From under a table that I built. I done built the table. Our dog sure ain't eating off the floor. What?
Listen.
House? Not here.
Listen.
Not gonna do it.
Shots is fired.
Do you have a somebody running against you in primary?
No, I don't have a primary opponent.
All right, cool. So you come back on before. Oh yeah, you coming on in July, right?
Yeah, I'm coming on in July. But let me say something real quick about that. I don't know what the timer is. I can't see none of the stuff.
You out of time. You out of time. But I love you.
But I'm out of time.
No, go ahead. Finish. Say what you got to say really quick, very quickly.
Something about elections. It ain't good enough for y'all to just vote for us. Y'all got to run for something. If you look up in your district and don't see another name beside a Republican name, even if you can't campaign, put your name on there. People might surprise you when they have another choice, because we need more help, and without numbers, we can't move the needle. All we can do is keep their foot off our neck, but we need to be able to move the ball, y'all. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. We ready to score.
All right, move the ball. Ooh.
Trying to steal it.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, 49ers all day.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right, sis. I love you, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
God bless you. God bless you.
You are a woman. I appreciate you. Listen, man. I told y'all tonight.
Shots fired.
I told y'all tonight. We was coming here for it tonight, man. We was coming here for it tonight, man. We was coming for all of it tonight. Like tonight we are talking. This is real talk, Rajon. Less talking from Rajon, more talking from the people. Logan Power, refreshing, bro. Go ahead, plug.
Man, this is Calvin Logan Power Show, man. This is a refreshing word for the people. Like you need actually House representatives, city council people like that is who you want in your fold, and you want people who got that kind of fire, because you don't need, as we call the people that try to be like, they're coons pretty much. They talk a big talk, and when the cameras is on, I already know. Like I said, we already know who we talking about. The ones who wanted to get downtown,
expressed by Calvin
downtown GoFundMe account for downtown, but you don't want to work. You want to help the older people.
The views expressed by Calvin Logan.
Boy, this shots is fired. I'm telling you, you got House of Representatives, city council people that's going to play these games. They worry about Facebook Live and the people that's falling apart. Boy, I tell you, she threw shots fired. I know what she's talking about.
Damn.
Listen,
they on live. Hey, let me go on to the next person. Let me get the next person on, because
shots is fired.
Listen, hey, I appreciate you. Hey, this is Calvin Logan, man. Logan Power Show, man. That's my guy. I'm so thank you so much for hosting with me tonight, man. This is fun. I'm enjoying this.
She called them jellybacks. Next up, we're gonna bring. They're jellybacks. That's what they call.
They're
called jellybacks.
That's what they call.
So them jellybacks, what they called. You know who they are. When the camera's on, they there with you. When the camera's not there, they ghosts. So you need to find who their jellybacks are. Then that's where you find somebody new put in place. Shots fired.
Word. You right. So shots fired for sure here on Real Talk with Rajon. If y'all know any of those people that she was just talking about, tell them to come in here, because we need to talk to them. All right. All right. So listen up. So next up, we got a good friend of mine. Somebody I actually consider a mentor myself. Miss Kenya Dunn. I am. There are not enough accolades to express what I think of this woman. She is a phenomenal woman, phenomenally power-filled woman. Just executive. Just be all you can be. Be like Kenya. Everybody will be like Mike. I want to be like Kenya. That's my goal.
That's the boss right there. That's the boss.
Listen, this show has been amazing. So congratulations, first of all, to Rajon. And then it was great to see Calvin as well. This has been amazing. I finally got in, so I'm excited. And I'll tell you guys, I'm coming from a different perspective, but it's truly aligned with my sister, Krystal. I actually reached out to her earlier this week in my own frustration, and she was very helpful. But I'm a leader in the business community. I've been an executive inside corporate America. And so I'm here to tell you that my advocacy is in my influence as well as my leadership. And I want to make a plea to business leaders. So if you call yourself a director of something inside of an organization, if you're a vice president of something, and I think Shakim said it best, right? Like, we all have roles to play because we sit in different positions where oppression happens all over the place. Like, systemic racism, systemic oppression is even happening inside the four walls of organizations. So what are we doing? And then the other thing that I do is I serve on community boards, because what I never want to do is be perceived as I'm just here to secure my own bag. I'm very grateful for my career. I'm very grateful, and I earned every single dime that I earned today, and I earned every moment and every role that I got in on my corporate climb. But I also know that I must lift as I climb. And so I serve also on the Tri-County Cradle to Career board, which is battling systemic racism in education. And I just got voted in this year. February was my first board meeting. And I'll tell you that what we experience, and I wrote an article for Thrive Global about this, but the George Floyd situation was really painful because it just continues to shed light. Like, we're being killed physically, like in George Floyd's situation, but we're also being killed from being robbed from opportunities, from being robbed from laws that protect us. And so I think that we have to lean in and use our voices. So I called Krystal, or I reached out to Krystal on Facebook, and I said, why don't we have a hate crime bill in the state of South Carolina? Because we all know that the number 45, he ain't gonna do nothing. And now he's coming out with this ridiculousness tonight. So what can we do on the state level to protect our own people? Like, the people in the state of South Carolina, why is there no hate crime bill? And what I found out is that House Bill 3063 has actually been, Wendell Gilliard has been trying to get that bill passed since 2018, has been trying to get it to the floor of the House since 2018 for as far as I can go and research it. And so I'm thinking, now this is the state, and I was leading the Charleston call center for T-Mobile when Dylan Roof walked into Mother Emanuel and massacred and murdered 9 innocent people. Yet we can't get a hate crime bill passed on the floor. So what is that telling us about the priorities of our state leaders? And so I actually have started to get on the phone. I've reached out to the Attorney General, Alan Wilson, got a response for a connect with him. But today I took a step further, and I live in Hanahan. So I reached out to the mayor of Hanahan. I reached out to Christy Rainwater and was like, hey, I need to talk to you. And the reason I did it was because I wanted her to, I wanted to hear what she had to say, but I also wanted her to know what was important to me and how she could help me, because I think somebody said it, that people were, white people are asking, what can they do? And here's what I'm telling white people, because my inbox and my text messages are filling up too. If you live in the state of South Carolina and you want to help us, then first of all, go talk to your state rep about House Bill 3063 and ask them to support this bill. I am in Nancy Mace's district. She is my state rep. And I have not had great success for her responding to my request to speak to her, but I won't stop. I'll continue to follow up with her. And so my plea is for us to really start to lean into the people that even if you didn't put your mark next to their name, if they got in the seat, they represent you. And they represent you, and we need to hold them accountable to it. And I think as business leaders, one of the values that we bring is we sit in rooms of influence all the time. So I'm cashing in some of those. Oh, it's so nice to meet you, Kenya executive. Let me know if I can ever help you. Great. Let me cash in a couple of those. Let me know if I can help you, because there are things that needs to be done to help us from education, that needs to be resourcing more of our small businesses, because we have tons. We talked about needing to start our own businesses. I have learned over the last probably 11 months, like, we have tons of people who have their own business in the African-American community, tons. But what's happening is we don't have the resources going to them to help them sustain, to help them scale, to help them understand what scaling looks like, to help them build wealth, to help them know how to track their revenues and how to turn their business into true profit-driven businesses. Like, those resources are not being directed toward our businesses, and that must change. And that is something that I am absolutely leading. And I will tell you that what gets in our way is minority includes white women. So when you talk about who has benefited the most from all of these minority initiatives, so like the Small Business Administration and, you know, the
talk about it.
Minority, like it's white women who continue, because 51%, and a lot of them is white women whose husbands really run the business, and they just put 51% of the business in the wife's name. And so now they're a minority, and they get in and they get the contracts. They get the opportunities to grow the revenues, and we've got to stop that shit, man.
Wow.
And we have got to call people to the carpet. And I love Krystal. I love her to death because I love her spunk. And I agree with her.
Yes.
Like, it is time out for saving people's feelings, right? Nobody's
Yes.
saving our feelings, so we don't need to save other people's feelings. But I love you guys. Listen, thank you for your time. I just wanted to come on here and tell people it's House Bill 3063. Krystal, who you guys just heard from, she is in full support of that bill. She brought me into the loop on what it is, and we have got to get behind her, Wendell Gilliard, and whoever else is really trying to get this bill passed, because nothing in the land changes until the law changes. And so the law doesn't change until we force the law to change by holding our elected officials accountable. And let's wear their asses out, wear the voicemails out, keep calling them. If it's full, keep calling, keep emailing, like wear them out.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kenya. Once again, mic drop. Mic drop. Listen. Thank you so much, Kenya. You're the best, yo.
Y'all
you are
passed
the
my
best.
bedtime.
No, she ain't past bedtime.
I know you. But you did it. But you did it because you did it because you love me, though.
I do.
Tell Ken I said what's up.
All right. Thank you, guys.
God bless you.
All right.
Shots fired. Yeah, I tell you, boy.
Listen. Shots fired. So listen, so the thing that she just said, that I wanted people to understand what she just said. People always talk about things like affirmative action and how affirmative action and the Civil Rights Bill and all these things impacted African Americans. Yeah, it impacted African Americans, but a rising tide floats all boats. So listen, so when that happened, that also made sure the legislation was put in place for homosexuals. It was put in place for Hispanics. It was put in place for white women. It was put in place for people with disabilities. Look at all of these acts. When you talk about the Civil Rights Act, you talk about the Civil Rights Act, the Voting Rights Act, as well as like all of these acts. They don't just, there's never been an act, there's never been a law written just for black people.
Nope.
Understand that. Understand there's never been a law written just for black people, which is why I want to make this point real quick. People always talk about, well, President Obama didn't do anything for black people. Nobody has ever done anything just for black people ever in the history of America, including abolition of slavery. I'll leave that there. All right, next person we bring it on.
Shots fired again,
listen, man,
boy.
I'm telling you. I'm on. What I tell you, Calvin?
They don't want to hear the truth today. You want it, man. Like
I'm saying I was on it tonight. All right. So next up, next.
You better get careful. This one coming with the fire.
You good?
I'm good. You good?
Yo. So this my guy. Sean Middleton is in the building.
Word is bond.
My guy Sean's in the building. Yes. Word is bond. My guy, word is bond.
Yeah. Hey,
I'm about to come with it.
My regular Facebook profile banned for 30 days, man. So I had to come on here off my word is bond page, my little dummy page.
Wow.
But, before I say anything, man, I want to say Krystal. I don't know her, never met her, never talked to her, but that's my shero. She is like from what I heard tonight, that's like the Maxine Waters of South Carolina. If somebody tell me Krystal Matthews looking for you, Sean, but I want to piggyback off something, man. You said something about Obama just now, people saying Obama didn't do anything for black folk. And then Shaquem also made a very good point about, okay, we can go ahead and protest and things, but we need negotiators on the side. Obama left something that really didn't get publicized, that we really tried to push back in 2016 to these police departments to prevent this type of George Floyd situation. And it is the Obama 21st Century Task Force. I'm going to repeat that. Obama 21st Century Task Force. That is the most powerful piece that a president has ever left to ensure that we don't get beat up by cops and choked out by them all the time. Now, me and Omar Fall in the cigar shop I hang out at, in 2016, we spent months studying departments like Portland, Oregon, that had that policy in place in their departments. And when the departments that put those things in place, arrest rates dropped, racial disparities dropped, the tension between community and police dropped, all those things dropped. We went to North Charleston. North Charleston told us to get out my face. There are people at me and Omar literally wrote a piece and presented it. And they said, get out of our face. And there are certain people in North Charleston that can't deny it because they know I wrote it and they know I showed it to them. What I will give Charleston PD, not the current chief, but the chief before him, and then Assistant Chief Taylor, they was down for it. But life was throwing me some left and right hooks at the time, and I backed off of it. So it's my fault that it's not implemented downtown, but it's not my fault for North Charleston. Those of you, I don't have the report anymore because my computer crashed and I ain't writing it again. But those of you who really are talking about wanting to do some change, look at the Obama 21st Century Task Force. You're going to have to twist North Charleston's arm. But I really came on here because I've been, leave some time. Okay, I got you. Just give me a warning, Rajon. But all right, I got you. I really came on here because I wanted to point something out. Now, on the east side yesterday, I don't know if y'all saw the video, but they set that mattress on fire or whatever. Yeah, and Charleston PD ended up going down there. Now, when they set that mattress on fire, they did that to themselves. I'm sorry. You might not like what I said, but they did that to themselves. They basically called the police when they did that. But what I did not like is that the police were blatantly trying to provoke those guys on that porch to do something. They were. Yes, they were. So they were. What you got to pay attention to, this is a triumphant moment. We're all feeling good, but we have to stick to the reality of things. This ain't the first time that we've done this. The Black Panthers did it in the 60s. They did it after they killed Martin Luther King. They did it during the LA riots in the 1990s. You know what I'm saying? We've done this before. So what they do is they wait for us to calm down and they start knocking us over the head again. And what I saw when they went on the project yesterday is that they're prepared to do it again. They're waiting for these agitators that may be or may not be from here to disappear. And then they're going to go back to what they've been doing. So I say this to say, I've been to a bunch of gun stores today. I went to a bunch of gun stores because I realized I need to be strapped right now just from watching that video. Ain't no guns nowhere. They are very hard to find. Handguns, very hard to find. I've been to 5 gun shops today. Okay. And I'm looking at my conservative friends, my conservative white friends. Some of them got really angry at the stuff I've been posting. Business partners. One of them, a multi-millionaire, is on my page going back and forth with me. And I basically told him, bump your money. What my beliefs come before your investments in me. So there are a lot of people that I'm finding that when it comes to Second Amendment rights, their gun rights, they're going to post all day about, oh, yes, I'll die for this. But when I come and I say I'm angry because I watched a man get choked to death and I watched him describe his body dying, because the way he was describing what was going on in his body, that's what happens when your body's dying. He felt himself dying. So do I really want your investment in anything I got going on? If you angry because I say something about that, what do you really say about me at the dinner table?
Facts.
But protect yourself. If you can find, if you are old enough and you don't have a felony, just based off what I saw in those gun shops and what those gun shop owners were telling me, because they say it's been a surge and they can't keep anything in stock. If you can afford to and you can legally obtain it, get something to protect yourself, because we've already seen it before. The police ain't done. They're not done. So protect yourself.
So Sean, you mentioned the gun shops, things are being like thrown off the shelf. Now the question is that, you know, a lot of times, you know, you have to have a certain things to get a handgun. So let's think about, you know, military, you know, veteran. You got rifles, you got certain things that are available. You got online you can do as well. Because like I said, keep in mind, you don't have to have a permit to carry a rifle. And a rifle can do 10 as much damage as a handgun. I hear what you're saying. But the thing is that what are we gonna do? I'm gonna give you an example. If me, you, all three of us right now, if we went right now to say the mayor's office, talk to John Tecklenburg, and we all were strapped, as you would say, and we're saying we're part of the protest, we would get shot. Because the reason
I'm not saying do that. I'm not saying go anywhere. Okay.
Sure.
I like to go in my driveway and drink beer. I like to drink a beer in my driveway.
Sure.
Okay. Now I've been in a situation. Me and my cousin Kevin Lewis. This was on Rosemont. Charleston PD walked into my uncle's fence and tried to walk through the door in the house. No warrant, no nothing. Until my cousin Kevin said, "Hold on a second. Y'all have no right to even be in this yard." And then they backed away. Okay. So in a situation, I can literally be in a situation where I'm in my driveway enjoying a Heineken, and some gung-ho cop decides he wants to come in my driveway and mess with me. You understand? Now, it's my driveway. I pay bills here. If you step in my yard, I don't care if you law enforcement, I'm going to shoot you. Now, I'm not going to be out here naked and put myself in a position to where you can walk in my yard and do anything to me. All I'm saying is I'm not going to walk up to Keith Sonny's office with my gun. I'm not going to do that. I'm not looking for trouble. I'm saying get a weapon, because police have a history of brutalizing us after things calm down. I'm just saying be able to protect yourself if some rogue cop decides he wants to mess with you, because there's a history of them doing that. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. The only thing that I want people to be aware of is that there are rules in place to protect us. If a law enforcement officer does come on your property, there's rules in place. People come on your property, things like that. There are rules right now. If a burglar come into your house, you can shoot first. But if they step outside your house and you kill them, then you in trouble. So it's know the laws of the land. I'm just saying that. I'm saying for us, just speaking for myself as an African American man, if I have a weapon in my house, I gotta know the law 1,000 times more than somebody who does not let me, because my thing about it is not everybody knows the law of the land. And sometimes when people say like the protests that have been happening, when you say stop at 6, but you gassing me at 5, then what law are you saying that you're running on? Or are you saying, well, your law doesn't matter? Just like I give an example, what the president just pulled.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's chess piece. Like, listen, I do an executive order. So like Sean, you say like, hey, let's all strap up. We all strapped at our house. All right. Mm-hmm. So the thing is, what's gonna stop? Because see, now you talk about military. Mm-hmm. A military doesn't have to issue a warrant to come into your house. They can say, we're gonna barricade this house and we coming in guns a-blazing. Yeah. Now you got your one. Now, unless you are strategically, you all together, and everybody, and it's gonna take a community to get together. I give you that. If your whole community strapped and they say, hey, Sean got a problem, I'm coming to Sean's rescue, then we good. But if people think like, well, that's Sean, I ain't gonna come to Sean's rescue because we ain't tight like that. So how can we make a difference? Because I believe that, hey, it's going to take action, but we want to be strategically smart, because a lot of things that come into play is that violence that we bring on. Yeah, I'll be straight. Like if we come with a handgun, they coming with a rifle. Yeah. If we come with a rifle, they come with a tank. If we come with a tank,
you ain't got nothing to worry about though. I used to work with your wife, so you protected. you straight. You straight. You will be all right. But we got to pay attention to the numbers. The numbers are simple. Look up the amount of police that are in North Charleston Police Department. Okay, I'm going to say this before. Personnel in that department is between 400 and 500 people. Okay, you've got 50,000, give or take, black people in North Charleston. Get 1,000 of them that are going to agree to, if something happens at this residence or this residence or this residence, we all showing up. We already saw that they can't do nothing when you got 300 or 400 people. That's how it's got to be. But I ain't gonna hold it up. I got 10 seconds. You still gonna ask me that question, Rajon?
I wanted to ask you. So let's do this. Can you stay in the queue real quick? You got somewhere to go? Because I want to get to the next person, but I still want to answer you this question.
I got no life, man.
All right, cool. I'm gonna go to the next person. I'll come back to you. All right. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna come back to you. Thank you, bro. All right. So next, we're gonna bring on my niecey Jay. My niecey Jay is coming on next. Jaden James of the illustrious James family. So I before I even like let you start, before I even start your timer, I just want to just say the appreciation that I have for this young lady. She is not actually my blood niece, but I like to think that I've mentored her a little bit too. And she's such an amazing young lady. She can do anything. And she's already making a name for herself in the world. Celebrities know her by first name. So I'm just honored to be in the presence of Jaden James. But the night of the protest, I think it was like 1:30 in the morning. Like I saw that you were up, and I texted you, and I was like, "Yo, you all right?" And me and you had a discussion about the protest and everything. And I just wanted you to come on. I wanted to make sure when I saw that you posted about it, I wanted to make sure that you came on and expressed your thoughts because one, you're very eloquent, and I know that you'll be able to really get your point across. So, Niecy J, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Uncle Z. I appreciate it. So first of all, I just kind of wanted to talk about Black youth, and I have this shirt on that says "Protect Black Youth." That's so dear to me. First of all, because I'm a youth leader at my church, so obviously I deal with Black youth every Sunday whenever we were able to go to church. But just I've always had a love for kids, and whenever I was with you, you were kind of mentoring me in terms of just being a teacher. So I just love raising the next generation and helping them out. But whenever I see these protests and riots, just from my personal experience, it does break my heart a little bit because I don't want us to grow up with all this rage and anger and fear in our hearts, although that's kind of how we're going to be raised right now, especially during this time. And the people who are mostly doing the protesting and the rioting in some cities are, people closer to my age than they are older. And I just think we need to start protecting our mindset. For me, whenever I go on Twitter and see all this stuff, it definitely builds a rage inside of me. But I have to realize, that try and come at it with a level head. And I know that's hard, and I know that's difficult for a lot of people, and I completely understand it. But us as youth, I think we need to realize what we do is going to impact us for the rest of our lives. And let's say you're just really angry and you throw, a brick into a window. I mean, at the time, it feels great. It feels liberating. But as you grow older and you think about that stuff, you may start feeling bad for what you did, or not even bad for what you did, but just feeling like, wow, I could have maybe done something different. Maybe I could have, just made a good post or, spoken out differently, kind of use your brain more instead of than just instincts that you have, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And
it does. I wanted to ask you. Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. You can go ahead.
Sorry for interrupting. I apologize.
No, you're fine.
No, so I wanted to ask you about your feelings on when you think about people talk about the youth and how the youth are really the next generation of leaders. But do you feel that this generation is preparing your generation to take the mantle when we can no longer advocate for you?
I do. I also feel like this generation, though, is tired. And in a way, I see some people don't really know what to do or how to lead us. And I think that's disheartening for me, because to know the people that you look up to, you look up to older people, and whenever they run out of ideas or don't have anything to help us in the future in times like these, it is kind of disheartening because, without the leader, where do you go,
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. So before you go, because you still got like a minute, I think you got a minute.
Okay, cool, cool.
So where are you going to college?
I am going to North Carolina A&T.
When are you going to college?
I'm going in
Aggies, huh? Go Aggies. What are you majoring in?
Sports journalism, media.
What are you majoring in? Yeah,
Sports journalism. Go ahead.
See,
sports journalism. She gonna do her thing.
Thank you.
Yes, man. If I had the picture, this would be when I would show the picture of you and Taylor Rooks and then you and Chris Paul.
Oh yeah.
And you and all these celebrities. Everybody know Jaden, man. Everybody know Jaden. Everybody know Jaden. But thank you so much, Nisi. I love you. I love you so much.
Love you
Tell
too.
mom and dad I said hello. If your dad is available, I don't know if he's out. Is your dad available?
He's at work. He's at work.
Ah!
Yeah.
I wanted him on. That's all right. Hey, because me and him were trying to schedule something for a while. So please let him know. Give them my best. Tell Grant and Nia I love them and I'll see them soon.
Most definitely. Thank you.
God bless you.
Bless you too. Thank you.
Alrighty.
Bye.
Man, these comments is coming,
Yep,
brother.
these are youth, man. These are youth, man. It's the future. Yo, I'm saying, like, thank you, everybody. To everybody who's watching, thank y'all so much. We run it up on 10 o'clock. I'll probably stay on until 10:30 max. But as long as people are coming, I'm gonna try to stay on. But 10:30 max, because I know Calvin also has a wife and kids, and I also have a wife and kids, so we probably go see them and see what they're doing. But I want to get these see what they're doing. You know, they do stuff. Let me see. So let's see. All right, so I wanted to go to next up, I think, was Zach, and then we go on Andrew, and then we go on Sean, and then we're gonna wrap. That's how we're gonna do it. Oh, and Keith. I see Keith came back. So we go Andrew, Sean, Zach, and Keith, and then we're gonna end this. Thank you guys, everybody. I see people, you know, if you gotta go, I understand. Watch it on replay. We'll be here. This is Real Talk with Rajon. I'm your host, Rajon Lewis, and we got Calvin Logan, Logan Power Shows. Plug
Calvin of the Logan Power Show, nationwide, worldwide. We're on the Real Rajon Show, man. The topic is Our Lives Matter, a community discussion. This is a time where you to speak your heart. There's been a ton of things going on at 6:53 p.m.
So much.
6:53 p.m. The nation has totally changed. The game has changed. The chess piece has been given. The president of the United States has actually called martial law. So protesters, they're out trying to still do their thing, but the game has changed. And I pray for this country. The United States of America has more blood in its hands than any other country in the world. I'm gonna say that right now. If you think like Calvin, what are you talking about? Listen, we haven't apologized for slavery yet. What are you talking about? You read your history books. We skip over Africa 1,001 times. It's how you talking. It's how teachers talk. She talk about Africa in February. The other times 8 months. I ain't talking about it no more. I'm gonna talk about the European mentality. You give the Native Americans some love, but you totally skip slavery. You think like, oh, that was the cotton picking fields, and you talk about, well, if you had slavery, you didn't give them no money. You oppressed them. So if you oppress somebody, you've been living off somebody's backs for so many years, man, that's like me making hands and foot. If I'm giving you pennies to $1 and you're living in my house, that's my property, I'm getting equity in land and I'm making money. That's the thing. So, you know, the United States get so much blood in their hands, and they always try to mix the Bible with the justification when they don't even read the Bible correctly. And that's the problem that we have, is that we talk about God is on our money, but we don't, the United States does not really love God. And we talk about this is the land of the free. No, it's the land of the take, and it's the land of the have and have nots. Let's go, brother. It's on you. Next person up.
Okay. All right. You said that. All right. So we said Zach, and then Drew, and then Sean, and I see Miss Amanda came on, so I'm gonna let Amanda come on because she hadn't said anything. All right, Zach, my guy. All right, I see you out there. All right, you wanted to come back. You had something to say, my guy?
Yes, sir. I won't be before you long. I know you got other people to tend to. Okay. But yeah, you can hear me good.
I can hear you, Zach.
All right, good. So yeah, I listen and I see everything.
Yes, we hear you great.
Everything that's all right, good. Everything that's happened over the past week with George Floyd has just been, you know, when I look at it, and some people say they don't get why rioting and, you know, looting and that stuff has to happen. Like, they don't agree with it. Like, I feel like some people just don't understand, and then you speak on what you don't understand, and a lot of the miscommunication and the things that people just think that they know but you don't actually know about is what causes a lot of tension. So, like, I mean, going and attacking police, I I don't see that as being the best way to get a problem. But at the same time, like there's not protesters are just there to simply have their voice heard. When you have people attacking police and vandalizing stuff and doing all that, you know, even though it may not seem like it gets people your point across at the same time, there's been peaceful protest after peaceful protest, and what I feel like is that people don't. When you look at a peaceful protest, and there's people up on boards and in courts and of higher authority, if you will, they agree, quote, with those protests just to have us be quiet for that time and just go back to how it was before, which is why there's been police on African American killings every year after year that has happened. Because, you know, sure, there was a protest here, people spoke up for a specific amount of time, but after that, after it goes quiet again, you have something like this happen, you know, and it's sad.
Is that Xbox on? Turn it off.
You good? We good?
Oh, you good, brother? Keep going. You on the flow.
All right.
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah. But what I was saying is that, you know, when you like what happened to George Floyd wasn't right. I'm never gonna agree with that because it wasn't right. What happened to Eric Garner, you know, hearing them say that they can't breathe when you have to breathe to live is really, it doesn't sit right with me. Because it's like how could you have people like the mayor of Mississippi come out and say that he didn't see anything unreasonable of the way that George Floyd was killed, and that you're having the police officers be the ones that are being, quote, crucified. That's what he said. That's what I read that he said. How can you not see anything that's unreasonable with that? You got a guy kneeing on his neck and he can't breathe. He's calling out for his mom. Like, how is that not unreasonable to you? And then, of course, you got the president, which he's on his own thing. Like, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. What is that? Like, and then he says that he was unsure of the history behind it. It's like, how do you were sure of that, or you wouldn't have used it in that context. You're saying the National Guard has come out to shoot protesters when protesters aren't even the ones that are tearing up Minnesota and or Minneapolis. Go ahead.
This young man's on it. Keep going, my brother. You was talking.
All right. I thought he said something, because I don't know if that's just my glitching or whatever. But yeah, like, you know, I feel like what's happened throughout these cities with
Zach. Is he still there?
He's still there. He's still here. He's still on the flow.
Yeah, well,
you glitching, bro.
I'm glitching. All right. Well, I hope.
Give me 10 seconds.
All right. Yeah. What I was saying was that, like, if you look and see what's happened to Minneapolis.
Yeah, you glitching.
Oh, I'm glitching. Well,
or am I glitching?
I think you're glitching, because when it comes to me, you look all pixelated. Like, you look all pixelated to me.
I think you're glitching, brother. That's the thing. Zach, 10 more seconds. Go ahead. Finish up.
All right. Well, look, man. Just basically, like, what's happening when you have this virus, when you have the pandemic out here. There's two viruses that we got to deal with: coronavirus and racism. And until you get those two figured out, this country isn't going to be it. That's it for me.
Man, you a smart man. I tell you, Rajon Lewis is actually doing some great things.
My
with you,
guy.
So, God bless you, young man.
That's my guy. Listen, Zach, let me tell you something. Look, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. You're coming in
I hear you now.
Y'all can't hear me.
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
Oh, okay. All right, you hear me good now?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother. Keep flowing.
Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. All right. Yeah, Zach, listen, man, you nailed it. You nailed it. This is what I want to encourage you to do. I want to encourage you to continue to have these discussions. Do not shy away from them. Do not feel like you're too young to have a voice. Do not feel like you are too young to make an impact. Do not feel like you are too young to change the world. You got that. My guy. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
God bless you, young man.
Same to you. Thanks.
Man, Rajon, you
all right.
You got some.
You be good, man.
Love it. Thanks.
All right. I know. Was I glitching? Like I was glitching back,
you
Calvin?
was glitching, Brad. That's what I'm staying with you, brother. Hey, Rajon's got some heavy hitter kids. These young men, I promise you. You keep watching these young men here.
I was like, I don't know what's going on.
They be as senators. Those gonna be the people that's gonna change the world. I'm telling you, because this young man said two things. He talked about. It's very important. He said coronavirus, COVID-19, and racism are the two major things that's gonna be the major key components in 2020 that we're gonna have to tackle. And the one thing is gonna have to be is that the people that don't look like us has got to admit that racism never started with us. And the apology is one thing, but it's more than just an apology. It's got to come with action. And we as a people got to take that initiative. And like Shakeem said, now the table's been given for us to speak. So let's speak and let's follow through.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that.
Yes, sir.
My guy, Calvin, boy, you all right, man. All right. So I think I said Andrew, then Sean, and then Keith, and then Amanda, and we out. All right.
Yes, sir.
So let's see. I said Andrew. All right. So I wanted to bring Andrew back. Andrew, thank you so much for waiting, bro. Like, thank you for waiting and being in the back room. Like, tell Ify I said hello and thank you so much. I know, she probably there with the baby, in her belly, and like, Andrew, come rub my belly and stuff. But she was on her way.
More like rubber
and I
feet.
appreciate
More
that.
like rubber feet.
Rubber feet. Okay, cool. Well, make sure you do that. Rubber feet. Women like that. That's a good thing. I wanted to ask you about your thoughts, because you were talking about the fact that you feel like people aren't tired enough. I want to ask you, what were your thoughts when the Saturday night when the protest became looting, when the protest turned, for lack of a better term, dark, when it went from being about marching and singing songs and clapping to let's break into the iPhone store and let's tear the city down and let's burn things. What were your thoughts when that shift happened?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that was my thoughts. Like, that was going to happen. If you thought that it wasn't, have you not read a history book? What happened in the French Revolution when the poor people got tired of the upper class? They guillotined them, right? They took the guillotine and started, slicing off their heads. That's going to happen, right? Like Dr. King said, a riot is the language of the unheard. You get enough people who are angry, they're going to loot, they're going to break and enter, they're going to do stuff because they feel like, look, I can't get my voice heard any other way. Now you have no choice but to hear my voice. But I don't even think that's the biggest. I don't really think the looting is the biggest issue. I think the biggest issue that we have. Say again.
What was the biggest issue to you?
The biggest issue to me is Black people. We have to realize that we're not victims. We're not victims, and we have to stop with the victim mentality, the victim mindset. Right? We have to stop with this weird. We need people to listen to us. We need people to admit, like you said, my brother in the middle. I don't know your name, but like you said, Calvin. We need people to admit slavery. We don't need them to admit slavery. Fuck them. We don't need them to admit it. Okay. We don't need anything from anybody. Okay. What we need is we need to come together. We need to stack our dollars collectively, and we need to create our own businesses, our own jobs. We need to give our own kids our own standards of excellence. Okay, let me just say something, because I know Rajon about to put the hands up, because I'm gonna touch on some feelings. Okay, the best time for African Americans, for African Americans was right after Reconstruction. Right after Reconstruction, when we built the Black Wall Streets, when we built the Tulsas, okay, when we built the Rosewoods, that was the best time for us. We didn't need anybody to build Black Wall Street. We got together. That was
during Reconstruction.
Oh, excuse me. During Reconstruction. That you're right. Okay, we didn't need anybody. Okay, we relied on ourselves. And I told this to Rajon, And me and him, we had a very long discussion about it. The very worst thing that could happen, and I say this with a very pregnant white woman in the bedroom, okay? The worst thing that ever happened to Black people was desegregation. The worst thing to ever happen to us was desegregation, because it gave us this false victim mentality that we have to rely on somebody else in order to teach our stories, sing our songs, give us our opportunity to wealth. And we don't need that. You know what I'm saying? And so my whole thing is these protests are going to keep happening. These killings are going to keep happening, and lootings and things, they're going to keep happening until we start doing for us. Until we fix that problem, it's going to keep happening, man. We have to do something different.
Got it.
I love that. Thank you, bro. That's
Great
what
point.
that was what I wanted to ask you. I knew you would nail that. I knew you would nail that question. So I wanted to make sure I spoke to you about it, because there's been so much, there's been so much of the well, they burnt down our buildings, like they so I wanted to make sure I want to, I wanted to make sure that I state this fact. I have not stated an opinion on that part yet. I will at the end, but I have not yet. But so thank you so much, Andrew. I appreciate you, bro. You my guy. Soon as I feel comfortable coming back to the gym, I'm gonna be in there with you. I got you.
Don't worry. Take your time, man.
I don't want to die. I don't want to die working out, man. I don't want to die working out.
I understand, man. Look me up whenever you're ready. I'll catch y'all later.
You already know, my guy.
God bless you.
Peace. Thank you. All right. All right. Oh, Dip. Sorry, not yet, Andrew. Amanda, not yet. Sean. I want to bring Sean back on, because another one I want to talk. I really want to make sure, because we talked about a lot of things, but we didn't really talk about the city's response as it pertains to we had the daytime protesting, which was peaceful and kumbaya, and that which was heavily attended, right? Much more people in the daytime protest, and then it went to the nighttime. And something happens when the nighttime comes, whether it be that outside agitators escalated things, which I do believe that there was an element of. But or was it that the people who were there during the day were like, okay, wait till it gets dark, and then we're gonna really show out in this city. But I remember I reached out to Sean that night. Me and Sean were talking, and I was like, yo, man, I was like, oh, I said I can't sleep, and you're like, I slept like a baby. So I wanted to ask Sean, what were your thoughts? Because I also know that you have a history in this thing, so I wanted you to get this point off. What were your thoughts when it turned, when the turn came from the daytime protest to the nighttime protest?
Now, I made a post saying that I didn't go to any protest. I made a post saying it, and so I wouldn't judge any protesters. But here's why I didn't go to the protest. We had planned on going to the protest at 2:00 on the dot, right? But me and a couple of other cats who have been pretty much notorious for protesting, we said, you know what? Let's wait and see what everybody else do. We tired of being on the front line when it comes to this dangerous stuff. So our plan was to go out at 4:00. But by 4:00, we watched all these live videos. I'm watching Shakim's live, and I'm watching Pastor Ravenel's live. And so we was like, well, dang, they got them contained between Calhoun and St. Philip's. So they bowing down, so ain't no need to go. Then an hour later, carnage. So we just like, oh man, they all over downtown. We messed up. We should have went, because we didn't think they was about it. But then when we saw they was about it, we was like, man, this is everything. This is the entire reason we did everything. So to me, the looting, I don't think they burned anything, but the looting, the destroying stuff and all of that, it's no different than the Boston Tea Party. They went on them boats on the Boston Tea Party. They threw all that stuff over the boats, destroyed all that product. You don't think somebody's livelihood got messed up forever if they didn't insure that stuff? But here's one thing that I do know. When I used to be in agriculture, every truck that I sent into the United States out of Canada, I had about $50,000 stacked into that truck. I didn't care if somebody robbed the truck or burned the truck or whatever, because I had insurance on it. I was going to get my money back off of it. All of those shops downtown, they got insurance on this stuff. And what isn't insured, they're going to sue the city to get that stuff back. So these people really aren't going to suffer a loss. Now, I'm not saying that looting and all that stuff is right or wrong or any of that stuff. But when I said I slept like a baby, I mean I slept like a baby, because at the end of the day, the main problem in Charleston and all across America is people are afraid. And all we wanted people to do was not be afraid anymore. And they're not afraid anymore. That's the biggest component to making change. As long as people are afraid, the people who abuse you and kill you and do things to you, they ain't got nothing to be afraid about. But when they realize that you can beat their ass, now they got something to be afraid about. Now they're going to come to the table. If you notice, a lot of people who had all this stuff to say about Kaepernick, NFL professionals are saying, we're sorry, Colin. But when we was kumbaya, they wasn't sorry. They wasn't sorry until we burned some shit. So I slept like a baby when it was going on. And I slept like a baby last night. And I'm going to sleep like a baby tonight, too.
And tomorrow?
I'm going to sleep like a baby forevermore. And to my investors that have a problem. Forevermore? Yeah, and for my investors that have a problem, when I show you how to make 10% on some product, you're going to give me your money anyway. So you're going to forget that you're angry at me anyway when I find the next opportunity. So
that's hysterical. Thank you, bro. Hey, so again, I knew what time it was on that question, so I wanted to make sure you got that off. Like again. Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure tonight, man, like I didn't want it to be a whole bunch of, hey guys, we should, and rather I agree or not. Like I said, I haven't stated whether I disagree or agree yet, but whether I agree or not is really neither here nor there. It's about the fact that we have a multitude of perspectives when it comes to this topic that need to be brought to the forefront. Too often,
can I say one thing?
We are treated. Yeah, do that.
Say one thing. To Andrew, outside of religion and homosexuality, you the go. Yo, hey, he was on point tonight.
Yo, I knew you was gonna say that.
Oh, almost made me want to work out. I ain't working out. I'm gonna walk past the gym and go to Dollar General and buy some candy. But you know what I'm saying? If I see you in the gym working out, like, yeah, that desegregation comment.
Yo, I but that's the thing, y'all, but that's the thing about most people, and this is a very good point. I'm glad you said that, because he's actually alluding to like a couple weeks ago we did a show called Toxic or Nah, and Sean and Andrew were both on the same panel, and like they clashed to the point where I had to mute everybody just to get control of the situation. But man, like we agree on most things. Like most people agree on most things. If we could just identify the things that we agree on and then work on those things and say, okay, the things we disagree on, all right, we're not gonna work now. Work on that stuff we agree on. We can build on that. So thank you, bro. I appreciate you, Sean. As always, 45C representing forever, ever.
Word is bond.
And I'll see you soon.
All right, man. Hey, tell Jamelia quit beating people up.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to the next person. Jokester. Word is bond. Always bond. Forever bond.
Good with Sean.
Hi, Bob.
Yeah, right now. Sean the jokester, boy. The jokester, man. But like I said, though, hey, but you it's a good thing that one thing you did admit that people should understand is that if we get together on one thing, just one thing, then we can make a difference. Like, I may not like what you like. You may like color blue. I like color black. But the one thing is the initiative. I want change. So we both agree upon that one thing. That's the one thing that I want people to understand. Let's find that common goal, that one thing that we can agree upon. So that's what I want us to focus on tonight, is that there is a now new voice that we are getting back to where we need to get to. So let's bring these other guests on, sir. For those that don't know, Rajon, you good?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, cool. So I'm gonna go with Keith, and then I'm going to then Keith. Can you hear me? You hear me? I'm good.
You good now? Yeah. Who you got next
All right,
up?
cool. All right, I'm gonna go Amanda and then Keith, and that we'll close out with Keith. And then you do your parting thoughts, and I do my parting thoughts, and then we go home. All right, all right. So Amanda. So Amanda Connell, I actually taught her son Tristan. How's everything going? Amanda's a phenomenal woman. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Amanda. You got 5 minutes. What you got to say?
So, I can't speak on behalf of what's going on, except for to say that I'm outraged, I'm hurt, because I grew up in a neighborhood that, probably wasn't as rough and tough as most, but every 5 minutes there was police coming in, there was drug deals being done, whatever, and I'm not trying to make anything out of that conversation, but what I am going to say is, I've worked with police, I've worked with a lot of different people, and there are some bullies in there, and I think that's what starts the looting and the rioting, whether it's the police or whether it's other people from other places coming for their agenda to make stuff happen. And that's not fair to say that it's one person or one race or one generation. It's just not fair. But there are some bullies, and it seems like every protest I've watched on the news so far started peaceful, and I could be wrong, but it seems like people get tired of it. But that's part of what makes this country great. That's why we have men and women going overseas and fighting the fights, and we have men and women here fighting the fight. And you know what? They don't see race, they don't see color, they don't see religion. They see one person, and I get that may be a
Are you still there, Amanda?
Am I frozen? Is this me or is this her?
I think that's her.
Because that's not right. Everybody is someone's father, someone's son, someone's uncle, someone's mama, someone's aunt, someone's baby. They weren't hatched. They were born by somebody. They are still a person. They may have made wrong choices. They may have made bad decisions in life, but that doesn't make them any less of a person. I've worked in the jail, and sadly, the jail that I worked at, it was the good old boy system. They said racism wasn't there. They were lying. They were lying. Okay? I'm not putting down the system. I'm not. Because we need something in place, but we need something that works for everybody, not just the rich people, not just the middle class people, not just the poor class. We need something that works everywhere, because everybody is a person. And if you have to use deadly force against someone to stop them, then there's something else going on that you need to take a step back, relook at the situation, and figure something out together, because it's not working what we're doing today. It's causing more division. It's causing more trauma. It's causing more stress. It's hurting our kids. And if our kids are the future, I don't want this future for my kids. I can't speak for anybody else, but this is not the future for my kids.
Powerful.
Yes. Yes. Well said.
And that's
well
why
said.
we
Thank
need
you,
people
Amanda.
like you, Rajan, and we need people like Krystal. We need people who are amazing, who shine, who are not afraid to back down just because opposition comes their way. I'm one person. I'm like that. I don't back down just because my feelings get hurt, but we will discuss it if my feelings do get hurt, and we're going to come to some kind of agreement, whether it's I agree with you, you agree with me, or we just agree to disagree. But we're all people, and we need to love each other.
Yeah.
And you can say that's white privilege if you want to. I don't believe in that crap. I mean, I know it's there. I know there are people who use that, but I don't use that. I work hard to get where I am. I work multiple jobs to get to where I am. And I just try to treat people decent because they are people. So we're supposed to love each other. God says love each other. Let's do that.
Amen.
Let's get together. Let's protest that. I'm all for a peaceful protest. But when you start looting and getting violent, I'm sorry, I'm out.
Thank you so much.
So
Salute to you, Amanda.
Yeah.
God bless you,
Yeah.
man. Like I said, that's
Yeah,
what we
thank
need.
you so
People like
much.
you.
All right. Love y'all.
Thank you, thank you,
Good
thank you.
night.
Love
Thank
you
you.
back. Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Have a good night.
God
All
bless
right. Good
you,
night.
man.
All right, so
Bye.
our final guest for this evening. Our final guest for this evening is Mr. Keith Smalls, who was here on earlier. He was on earlier, so I'm going to sort of limit his time. So we're not going to give you the full 5 because you was on earlier, and Calvin, wife calling him, and my wife is probably calling me. though she's not calling. She's watching. Thank you, Toya, for watching. Let me go ahead and shout my wife out. My wife's been watching this whole time. Support is support. I went to Calvin's show, and his wife was right there making sure that the cameraman knew exactly what he needed to do. So shout out to the wives.
That's right. My
Shout
wife,
out to the wives,
Jamelia
yo.
Logan, boy. She's watching with me upstairs. I got my son next to me, Jeremiah Logan. So I'm gonna tell you,
Shout out
it's
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah. Here you go, right here, man. Say shout out, say hey to to everybody, to the camera, man. You gotta look. Good to go.
Hold on, get in the camera. I can't see you.
Get in the camera, man. They gotta see you, bro.
Hold on, let me see. Oh, there you go. What up, Jeremiah? We do okay? We do all right? Okay, all right. Thank you. All right. So we're gonna bring on Keith. All right. You muted yourself, bro. Not you, Calvin. You muted yourself. All right, so we're gonna bring on Keith. All right, Keith's gonna be our final guest, and then Calvin's gonna give his parting thoughts, and I'm gonna give my parting thoughts, and then we're gonna get out your way. All right, get out your way like we in church. All right, Keith, you bike. You got 3 minutes, man.
Fire, man. I'm just saying, man, I want to give a salute to you, brother. Hey, shouts out to you, man. I came home and I didn't know what to expect from my community after serving so much time in the Department of Correction. I wanted to be able to help. And, I was just looking at the landscape and seeing, who's doing what, because, I want to collaborate. I want to align myself. I want to partner up. We're on a mission. This stuff happened. I did a video and I said, King Street is going to be all right. You know what I mean? They're going to be all right. You know what I mean? And listen, we're going to have the conversation. I am so happy that the conversation is at the table, and it is, and I think it's a legitimate conversation, definitely. But it had substance to it. This has substance to it. We have substance with the way we're approaching this. You have people who are coming to the table, young, the old are, they can be difficult to deal with. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And listen, we're going to work around that too. That's how I want, we're going to work around that too. Yeah, we're not, you know what I mean? So, hey, man, again, I'm here for you. My community's keep a mentor group, you know what I mean? And like I said, we're going to meet and we're going to talk, and I can lay out the things that I endeavor to do, and I've watched you and the things that you're doing, and, we're going to work together, and it's going to be a great thing, man. Charleston and South, it's going to improve. It's not an overnight thing. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
It didn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? But, it's not going to be. But we're in a great place. I think we're in a great place. I'm talking about people place, where people, you know what I mean? Not just the leaders, because we talked to Marvin, and I know Pendarvis, J.A. Moore. I have great relationships with them. Peninsula Democrat. We, you make the rounds and you meet people. But on the grassroots levels, brothers like yourselves, Shakim, and that's my dude. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Those brothers, Charleston Uplift. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and it is names that I have. Sharika Mize, Everyone Voice Matters. That's my, you know what I mean?
Sharika's gonna be on in July.
I just did, I did a scavenger hunt with my mentor group on Hampton Park Friday on a virtual reality school. So, you know what I mean? And we definitely partnering up, trying to find different ways to work together. And that's what we have to do. You know what I mean? The table is going to be, we're going to work. It's just, again, man, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be here, and I won't, you know what I mean? And y'all can count on me. Go ahead.
You got to get on Calvin's show. Calvin, you need to interview Keith if you haven't already, man. Man's got a story.
And listen, I'm doing a TED Talk. My TED Talk is September 14th, Music Hall. So it was going to be in April, but the pandemic turned it back. So it's September 4th. I'm doing a TED Talk on Music Hall. So you know what I mean? Definitely can. We can.
Just holler at me. Just like I said, definitely, Rajan will give you my info. Love to have you in the Logan Power Show. We're here to make a difference, and we need voices. So that's the platforms. We iron's got to sharpen iron. So definitely, I love to hear the testimonies, because you remind me of another gentleman. He was serving 24 years in prison, and because of President Obama's clemency, he got let go, overcharged. No, this another gentleman I had on, he was serving almost 24 years. It wasn't Lester. This is another gentleman that I had, but definitely it was a blessing to see. So, like I said, definitely it's
Yeah,
always
you talking
good to
about
meet
Lester Young. You call
I'm
Lester
talking about
name
Lester.
Lester.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
not
my
Lester
dude.
Young. Lester
Yeah.
Young. I know about Lester Young. There's another
Yeah.
guy that we had
That's my
here at the
dude.
show. Yes, sir. But
So I
hey,
got
Yeah.
Lester down here a couple of times with Path to Redemption and the Band of Box movement, and we're working together on that too. So yeah, definitely, man, we're going to be in touch. You know, we're going to get to know each other a whole lot better, and we're going to be on front line working, being a voice, and creating substance and having results, man. 10 seconds. I appreciate you, brother, having me on, having everybody on. Krystal, Can You Done? That's my peoples. You know what I mean? Listen, shouts out to everybody. You know what I mean? Keep doing the great work, man. Listen.
God.
That ain't stop us. You know what I mean?
Nah,
That didn't stop us.
nothing, ever.
The protest
Nothing.
continues. The marathon continues.
Yes, bro. All right, man. One love. I'll talk to you soon.
One.
We get together this week.
Definitely.
All right, my guy. All right. And then there were two. And then there were two, bro.
There were two.
And then there were two. Listen, we did this, man.
Yes, we did it. We did it.
Listen, the floor is yours. Final thoughts, man, and I'll do my final thoughts. We get out of here, man.
Oh man, what I've learned here, and I want people who listen today is never get in the spirit of competition. My guy Rajan right here, he's doing his show. I told him what was going on. He said, "Calvin, you want me to host with him?" I said, "Sure." I'm not trying to take his fire. My thing is that I want to be able to uplift one another. My name is Calvin with the Logan Power Show. My website is www.theloganpowershow.us. We love to have people on to talk about what's going on, make a difference. I just want to give y'all some faith and some love to let you know that God has a plan for everything. It's gonna take action. Them talking days, like Krystal, like you saw how Krystal said, you have to follow through with it. So what we've seen today is now you have a voice. You've been given a lot of different information. So you guys need to replay it, listen to a lot of things that was said by different people. Uplift everybody who's in the fight with you. Stop worrying about these small foxes. These small foxes are going to spoil the vines, what the biblical term says. So we got to work together. You got to be able to strap up. I'm not talking about strapping with a gun, but strapping with you hold each other up, because through this time, the pandemic is racism. It ain't COVID-19. The pandemic is racism. It's going on for a long time. Hate, anger. So I want you all, if you want to make a difference, a couple things you want to do. Number one, you want to vote. You sitting there, I'm not voting. You wasted my time and yours. It's time not to don't worry about the presidency. You got to think about senators, House of Representatives, city council, your mayors. Who's your chief of police? Know these people so you can make a difference. Number two, you got to have economic wealth. And what I mean by that, you got to put your money where your mouth is. If you see somebody who's making big things, support them. Don't just focus about you and your house only. It's going to take a village. I understand African Americans have a village, Latinos a village, Native Americans have a village. But on a global scale, people like me, we are the majority. So if we, the majority, from a global scale, decide to say, hey, it's time to take over, we could take over. But I'm not speaking hate. I'm speaking love, but we got to work together. So in the United States, stop saying that, we can't work together. We can. If we can work together on the basketball team, on a football team, baseball, or things that we play as African Americans, if we can work together on that team, we sure can work together in business, in politics, and getting involved in our community. And the final thing is like this. I don't care what your walk of faith is. I believe, me personally, Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Yeah. I believe that we have to work together as believers. And if you believe in Jesus Christ, your Lord and Savior, if you believe that we're going to make a difference, then, hey, it's time to get to work. Stop worrying about the church doors. Because like I said, the real work is outside of the church doors. I implore every pastor, every spiritual leader, open your church doors. People need to hear your voice. You can't be mute in this season. People got to see you. They don't see you, then people are not going to feel that. People need to know that you are real. I'm not condemning them, but I'm saying you are needed. I don't care what the president says. You know what would happen? If the president came on and apostles say, you know what, you ain't talking Bible and I rebuke you, you know what? That would give people hope. If a pastor or an apostle say, you know, I rebuke what you just said because you ain't talking God. Lock me up. And I guarantee I'll be like Paul and I get the doors will open because the jailer will say, I need to get out. So I'm speaking to those that stop being mute. Stop worrying about some of these televangelist people you see on television because they ain't going to speak onto that because they are 501(c). So they government bound. They got COVID-19 mask. That's the problem. That's why you'll see some of them big people talking big talk. They'll talk about George Floyd, but they won't speak against Capitol Hill because they're afraid of having themselves not being taxed. But you make a lot of money anyway. So let's make a difference. So, hey, not your politicians. Talk to your spiritual leaders. Get some, I'm talking the real one, not these wolves in sheep clothing. Is all they want to talk about house, car, and land. I'm talking about the ones who talk about salvation, making a difference, loving your community, getting involved. So that's what I want. And man, again, shout out to my man Rajon, man. I tell you right now, you need people like that in the fold because my thing is it's not a competition. Man, I want to see him grow. Listen, if this thing got 1 million plus people, to God be the glory. Because my thing about it is, at the end of the day, we say we got 1 million people that saw a solution on tonight. So I pray that this show bless you. And without further ado, the man with the hour, the man with the mindset, the one on Rajon, take us home, brother.
My brother, thank you so much, man. I want to start off by just thanking everybody tonight for watching. Everything that's been said tonight is true. And I'm going to tell you why it's true, because it was true to the person that said it. Nobody came in here with the scripted. We didn't script none of this. I didn't call, 5 people who I thought would agree with everything that I said. I didn't make a point of it to make it all about me or all about what I'm doing. Like, I wanted this to be something that reflected the thoughts of our community today. We have to continue to find ways to express ourselves. So when I was thinking about my final thoughts, well, first of all, before I say that, Calvin, thank you so much for co-hosting with me, bro. You didn't have to do this. You had so many other things you could be doing. I actually asked you at the last minute to do this, but you agreed because you're a real man and you're a real person and you're an ally in the fight. You're an ally in the fight. And that actually gets me to my final point. My final point is this. We are in a state of emergency. We are currently in a state of emergency. In a state of emergency, you need all hands on deck. In a state of emergency, you need allies. You need to know who's for you. You need to know who's against you. In a state of emergency, you need an emergency plan. We are in a state of emergency. It's one thing to go out and burn the city down. That action in and of itself means nothing if we don't utilize the power that comes from it. Now I'm going to explain to you what I mean. Saturday, I watched the protest from a standpoint of the fact that I had been watching the Minneapolis protests. Me and my wife were on vacation, actually. And I was like, every chance I got, I turned on CNN. I was watching CNN on my phone while we was walking through the mall and stuff. Like, I'm watching because I'm like, this thing is going to break. Something is broken in people. Something happened when George Floyd was killed. Something happened that broke Black people in America. There was something that happened that broke white allies of Black people in America. Something that said, do what you're going to do to us, but we don't care. That's a dangerous place on the other side. They say you never want to fight a man who has nothing to lose. I also remembered back, I think it was 2016, when Walter Scott and Emmanuel 9 happened. And I remember how Charleston came together on Charleston Strong. And they're like, oh, we're Charleston Strong. We're not going to we're not going to rally like that. We're not going to, and people took pride in that. People took pride in the fact that Charleston did not go the way that Ferguson went and the way that Baltimore went. We didn't go that way. Well, guess who didn't take pride in that? Charleston activists. Charleston activists, we're not proud of the fact that our city didn't go the way of those places. I know, because though I don't consider myself an activist, a lot of my friends are. And I saw the way they talked about Charleston. Oh, y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all didn't do nothing. Y'all didn't do nothing. So I knew when something happened and Charleston had an opportunity, it was going to go badly. So Saturday comes, people are marching. It's kumbaya. The streets are filled with people. I'm like, this is great, but it's going to go bad later. I knew it. I told my wife, I said, this is going to go badly. The nighttime comes, and you start to notice that the crowd is thinning out. You also start to notice that there's a whole lot of faces that I've never seen in my life. It's a whole lot of faces I've never seen in my life. And those faces that I'd never seen in my life were really aggy. They were really aggy. And they, believe it or not, go back and watch the videos. If one of those people that was throwing bottles at the police work at Kroger, then y'all come tell me, because I have not, not Kroger. They don't have Kroger here, but like Publix, if they work at Publix or Popeye's Chicken or Walmart, if those people, they weren't. But what happened was it emboldened the people from here. And that's when you got the breaking into the iPhone, the Apple store. That's where you get the busting in the windows at the Bennett Hotel, and that's how you get those things. Because people who aren't from our city don't care about our city. But once that switch had been flipped, I knew what time it was. And that continued until early in the morning. I went to sleep at 5:45 a.m. I couldn't sleep. I was sick. And I was sick and tired. And I was like, I can't believe that this happened. Not like I didn't think it was happening, because I thought it would happen. I hated the way it made us look, because I knew that a lot of the people that were out there weren't out there for righteous reasons. And they were doing the right thing in the wrong way. They were showing that they're frustrated, and they're showing that they're tired, and there are people that are out there that are truly about that and really care about the cause. And there are people out there that just wanted free stuff. And this is the conundrum that we have. So I wanted to say this. Multiple things can be true at the same time. This is a post that I made, I think, the night of it. Multiple things can be true at the same time. It can, one, be true that Black people are sick and tired of being abused by the police, and Black people are sick and tired of racial injustice, and Black people are sick and tired of systematic oppression, and Black people can be sick and tired of institutional racism. That can all be true. It can also be true that breaking into the iPhone store, breaking into the Apple store, breaking into Mama Kim's, busting down Mama Kim's restaurant, who Mama Kim is nice to everybody. I have to point out Mama Kim because I love Mama Kim. Like, she's nice to everybody. If you've been to downtown Charleston, you know Mama Kim. Burning down the restaurants that we use. The guy mentioned Jam earlier. He mentioned, burning down, messing up the Family Dollar in an area that's already a food desert. When we think about that stuff, I can't get jiggy with that. And I also know that the other things are true. So I was frustrated. Sunday morning, I wake up an hour and a half later because I had to do a photo shoot with my wife. So I was tired. Y'all gonna see bags under my eyes for the next few days until I catch my sleep. But I woke up and my inbox was full. People were like, hey, Rajan, what can we do? I mean, how can we stop things like this from happening? What kind of legislation can we push to make sure that these things don't happen anymore? And in all the years, I'm 38 years old, nobody has ever asked me, a black man, what legislative issues I thought were very important. That happened because they burned our city. That happened because they looted our stores. Ask yourself, what message does that send? When that's what we have to do to get that reaction. With that being said, I'm going to close the show. Give me 1 second and get my music together. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going. Thank y'all so much for watching. This has been dope. Calvin, man, I owe you dinner, Cal. I owe you and the wife. Matter of fact, double date. Once we can get out of here and do the restaurants, double date me, you, my wife, and your wife, dinner. All right?
Got it. Yes.
I'm a freestyle. I'm just like, I gotta make sure I got my thing plugged in. I'm sorry, young cousin. Sorry. This is a terrible ending. All right. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, man. This has been amazing. Shout out to Calvin Logan for co-hosting with me, man. You didn't have to do it, but you did. And that speaks to the man that you are. And I love the man that you are. And if you ever need me, you already know it's just a call. Yes, thank you to every guest that came on tonight. Thank you, everybody. It's too many of y'all to name. But everybody, if you came on tonight, it meant something to me that you were on. Thank you to everybody who watched. Y'all didn't have to watch this. I've been on here for 2 hours and 49 minutes. Calvin's here. I was here. We was doing it. And like, we had real discussions. It was really, really real. If y'all don't know, this is Real Talk with Rajon. I'm your host, Rajon Lewis. And Wednesday night is the local celebrity spotlight. This week's guest is Erica Coakley. We're actually going to be meeting at 8 o'clock as opposed to 7 because I have a work conflict that came up. But don't worry, we're still going to give her full time. We're still going to get it in. We're still going to talk about what she's doing to spread awareness about autism and the effects of autism on families, as well as her organization, Voices United. So we're going to be talking about that. This and all my shows is available for your listening pleasure on via any place you can find podcasts. Apple, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can find a podcast, you can find my show. But look me up on social media. I am everywhere, sorta. If you type in Real Talk with Rajon and my face don't come up or my logo don't come up, it ain't me, and I ain't gonna be there. So don't stop looking for me there. That's not gonna happen. I am accepting event hosting opportunities. If you'd like to request me to speak at or host your event, I'd love to do so. All you gotta do is go to my website, www.realtalkwithrajon.com. That's really all I want to say. Oh, leave a comment. Make sure you leave a comment. Give me some likes. Give me some comments. We have so many comments. We have so many likes. I love reading your messages and getting your feedback, even if it's negative, because I do not want to be told how great I am. I want to become as great as I can possibly be. That only happens with honest feedback. In closing, always remember, God is everything, and without him, we are nothing. So never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he is bound to fall for anything. Now that is real talk. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you, guys who watched. This has been dope. We are out. Peace.
Peace.